go now. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, coming to you every Monday through Friday, round about this time, from the beautiful Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the E-Gallery, located in Dallas's fantastic and so trendy design district. We do this every day. It's current events talk. It's me. Hi, Pugs Moran. It says so, right? Right. Ow. Having a bit of an allergy thing, as I was telling you about last week. My voice almost completely went away yesterday. So I'm fighting through it, but that's okay. We're going to do a show anyway. Every day I sit here and I give you all the day's current events. I do it in a stream of consciousness rant. That means I just start talking about the world, and if you follow along, hopefully by the end of this show, about 2 hours, you'll have a very good working knowledge of what's happening in the world today. Got my code mix. So tasty, it's probably soon to be illegal. I'm trying to work on a branding for Code Mix. I started out with so good it should be illegal, but I'm not so sure it isn't. All I know is it's good. It's an energy drink. They don't pay me. Trust me. I think I'd have to tell you if they did. Isn't that like part of like, the deal? Like I gotta say if they're paying me. They're not paying me. But I like them. They're my energy drink of choice. The show plays out, as I told you, it's a stream of consciousness. So from time to time, we are going to go off into the weeds where I just start talking about something that distracted me from the primary point. But the show is broken down into 4 categories in an effort to keep me on the road. The 4 categories are quarter 1, we call that antecedently on this day. That's how we start the show. I'm going to run through some things that have helped shape our understanding of this day throughout time. It's this day in history, nothing more, nothing less. Oh, the voices, horseshit. Horseshit, the voices. Quarter 2, birthdays. Celebrities, notable quotables, people who are celebrating a birthday on this day. Here's how this works. We say their name, and then we talk about them, and we decide, are they cool or do they suck? That's the birthday game. Cool or suck. Happy birthday. Quarter 3 is the deads. These are people who have died on this day. And it's sort of like cool or suck, except that in this case, we decide, did this person upon their passing go to heaven or did they go to hell? Talk about whether we think they're in heaven or hell. Those are the first 3 quarters. They serve as a bit of a ramp up to get me dialed in to talking about all the things that are happening in the world today. That comes in quarter 4. It's hot topics, current events, headlines, whatever it is, all of that good stuff. All right. We've gotten that out of the way. This show has been on the air for 3 years now. It runs on your tips and your gratuities. And because that's how we do things, we'd like to award the title of executive producer to somebody for every show. Here's how you get to be the executive producer. Well, you be the big tipper on the previous day's show. We do have an executive producer today, and it is the great Mikey D. Thank you to Mike D for exec producing today's show. That was awesome of you. He tipped on the weekend. That's always just such a good vibe. That is always just like, look, I appreciate tips when they come in at any time, but somehow like when you see a tip come in over the weekend and you're not expecting it and you're like, yeah. So thank you, Mike D. I don't know if you tipped over the weekend, but that's when I became aware of it. So that's very great. So thank you so much. If you would like to be tomorrow's executive producer, well, you got to tip the biggest. And that's how you do it. Venmo, Cash App, we'll leave that up throughout the show if you're so inclined. Why might you do that? Well, because this kind of talk radio doesn't really have any commercial viability anywhere else. Why is that? Well, because this kind of talk radio doesn't carry water for one specific. See, look, terrestrial talk radio is controlled by puppet masters. They want the national conversation to be a specific thing for their own reasons. I'm not going to break that down or get into it. So you're only allowed to do certain things on terrestrial talk radio. You can talk politics, but it can only be one kind of politics. And then other than that, just sports. Just if you're not going to do politics, just talk sports. So we do this. We stream this. This is talk radio the way it used to be. This is talk radio the kind that I did between 1992 and 2010. 12, whatever. It's not political, okay? It's just about life. It's normal people just talking about the world. I'm a normal guy. There's a lot of abnormal people. We saw one in the news we're going to get to soon. One crazy-ass abnormal dude making news over the weekend. We're normal people. We're not those people. I like to say, here's who's welcome on this show. If you've never been kicked off an airplane and gone viral because of your temper tantrum, you're allowed to listen to this show. If you've never been arrested in a Target, you're allowed to listen to this show. I don't want anybody fighting in Target listening to this show. Get it? Targets, you get in, you get the fuck out, you go home. You don't go to Target looking to scrap. That's weird. That's abnormal. That means this show is not for you. And thirdly, if you've just been banned from your family's Thanksgiving, I don't want you here either. I don't even know your family, but I'm going to side with their group thought on who you are. And if they don't want you around for the big holidays, we don't want you here every day. So if you're normal, if you're just a normal person, normal doesn't know any political partisanship or ideology. You could be on the right, you could be on the left. You're just a normal person. You know what I mean? You're a normal fucking person. That's who this show is for. There are no avenues for this in terrestrial radio, so this is how we operate every day, Monday through Friday, for 3 years, doing regular talk radio for regular, non-weird people. How was your weekend? You know what I did this weekend? I fought my freaking allergies all weekend. I had sinus headaches all weekend, and it was a good weekend for that because it kind of felt a little fallish, right? I mean, Saturday was gorgeous here in North Texas. And anything, by the way, what is gorgeous in North Texas? Anything that's not 105. That's pretty much what I call gorgeous in North Texas. So what do we have? Mid-80s on Saturday? Maybe high 80s? I don't know. It's just a beautiful weekend, but my sinuses are going nuts. So I've been having difficulty with that. Watched a lot of football. Boy, football. We'll talk a little bit about football. We'll do an NFL football roundup, NFL and college. Big news for us here in Texas concerning college football. More on that to come. We don't do sports, but we do some sports. Like we're not a sports show, but I can do a sports show. I do nothing but listen to sports talk. That's all I listen to on the radio. Better than everybody. I'm better than everybody. I'm sorry, I just am. You people are also broken by big sports radio. You're doing this programmed kind of thing. Not me. But I could never do sports radio because someone would come up in the news and I'd be like, yeah, I'd love to talk about the pitching chart. But can we discuss the guy who just tried to shoot the president? No, we can't. Well, I'm going to be obsessed with that. I'm going to be useless on this sports show, so I'm going to go home. That's why I can't do sports. I just can't. I don't think sports are important enough to talk about with that level of commitment. Sports. It's like, I don't know. What if board games? What if there was like a whole radio format? What if board games were bigger than they are? Like, what if there were professional board game league? Oh. Guys, did we just invent something? Professional board. Well, that would never work, says everybody with zero vision. I don't know. Can you see that? Is that a thing? Could that be a thing? You know what? That can't be a thing. Really? You know what can't be a thing? Half the shit that has become things in my lifetime. I don't know. I think there could be a professional board game league. What would the games be? I don't know. I'm ranting now. That's what we do here on A Stream of Consciousness. Sometimes we just go off into the weeds. Okay, let's say hi to the chat room. We got Peter in the chat room. Hi, Peter. Sports bras. I don't know if you're suffering from the allergies as well, but he says, "Damn the allergies." I know. I'm having the thing. My boy KB is here. We got Barney. We got Jeff. We got Adam. We get to this point where I got to make it bigger now. Say hello to the very beginning. Cam was here in the beginning. Taranda. Did I see Taranda? I thought I did. April. Jen. Oh my God. They're all here. Everybody's here on a Monday. I'm loving it. All right. Who else? Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody in the first wave. What else this weekend? For those of you interested, my Sons of Anarchy re-binge that I've fallen into. I told you guys this a couple weeks ago. I started, I got reinterested in the Sons of Anarchy after the Hells Angels. By the way, how long is it going to, did the Hells Angels ever show up? Or was that story a fucking lie that all of you people just chose to believe because you're fucking not normal? So remember the Hells Angels story that some of you people in the chat room shared? Some of you were like, it's over now. The Hells Angels are, you bunch of mooks. Anyway, that story turned out to be nothing. And because of it, I was like, I need to watch. Apparently, if this is true, because maybe there was some part of me that initially thought it was true. Well, we're not all, I'm at least partial mook on this. So I started to rewatch Sons of Anarchy because that is, of course, where I would go to for all of my MC knowledge, my MC rules. I just didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was like allowed for a motorcycle group from Northern California to just go into another motorcycles group area. That's the whole thing from the beginning for me with the Hells Angels story. I was like, I don't think they can do that. So I started watching Sons of Anarchy, and holy shit, now I'm Mr. Sons of Anarchy again. I just got through with my favorite part of Sons of Anarchy, which is also most Sons of Anarchy fans' least favorite part, where they went to Ireland, where they went to Northern Ireland. Oh, I love that. Oh. I don't know what the first episode is, but when they first arrive in Ireland and they're on the motorcycles, how did, first of all, it's like the Sons of Anarchy. They just travel. I don't want to get into it. But the Ireland episodes are some of my favorite ones, where the Sons of Anarchy, an American motorcycle gang, goes to Northern Ireland to battle the IRA for gun trade. So I'm about halfway through season 3 of that. I tried to watch that new Netflix thing. Did you guys watch the new Nicole Kidman? Who's the guy? What's that? Ray Donovan? I can't think of his name. Liev Schreiber. That's it. Liev Schreiber. Did you watch the Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber Netflix show? I think it's called The Perfect Couple. Here's what's interesting. Okay, so here's what's interesting about that. There's a lot of scenes where like Liev Schreiber and Nicole Kidman are like making out and stuff because they play a husband and wife. The perfect couple. They're a husband and wife. And there's like a lot of like physicality between Liev Schreiber and Nicole Kidman, which is they're actors. So on face value, you're gonna be like, they're just actors. But no, this is wild. Nicole Kidman's best friend in the entire world is Liev Schreiber's wife. Nicole Kidman's Liev Schreiber's wife, or I don't even know if they're. See, this is what makes it even weirder because I don't know if they're still together. But Liev Schreiber was with I don't know, whoever that chick was. Naomi Watts. That's it. Australian actress Naomi Watts. She and Liev Schreiber were together. I don't know if they still are. But Naomi Watts and Nicole Kidman are like besties and have been besties forever. So Liev Schreiber, because you know that like if your wife's best friend was Nicole Kidman, I don't care who you are, there'd be at some point at dinner, drinks, everybody's drunk. There's at some point you're going, man, my wife's friend is hot. Liev Schreiber gets to act on it. Are they together? Ex-wife. See, ex-wife. That's what I thought. That makes it even more weird. That makes it weird. Like, are Nicole Kidman and Naomi Watts, are they still friends? Because you got Liev Schreiber and Naomi Watts. They're hot and heavy, and Nicole Kidman is the best friend. They break up. And then Liev Schreiber goes and does a movie with the best friend, or not a movie, I guess it's a miniseries, The Perfect Couple. Anyway, that aspect of it, what the hell is going on when the cameras aren't rolling between Nicole Kidman and Liev Schreiber? That is, in my estimation, the most interesting thing about that show. I watched one episode and went, yeah, no thanks. I don't need a high-end Hollywood soap opera, because that's all it was. It just seemed, it didn't grab me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys got deeper. But I got one episode into that, and I went, I'm too distracted by what the hell's going on with Naomi Watts and these two. So I had to bail. That's what I did this weekend. Spent all weekend in bed with a vaporizer and hot showers trying to empty out these terrible sinuses. Leslie C. says that Nicole cleared it with Naomi first. I don't know if that's true at all, but I'm going to say that Leslie C. knows what she's talking about, and that's how I'm going to move forward through life. I hear they cleared it. I'll say when somebody asks me, and then if they say, "Where'd you hear that?" and I won't say Leslie C. in the chat room. I'll just say, I don't know, somewhere. That's what they're saying. People are saying. So it's probably a real. But I just think that's weird, though. I think it's weird based on, I guess, what we project to be a relationship status of two people who just broke up, right? It's got to be weird, friends and all that. But maybe they're cool. Maybe Naomi Watts and Liev Schreiber are like, we're swinging Hollywood people. We just broke up. No big deal. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Mama B says, I watched all episodes and indeed it was a soap opera. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it just seemed a little bit soap opera. And that doesn't mean that The Perfect Couple on Netflix isn't good. It just means that me, a middle-aged, white dude, it's not like, I don't know, it didn't grab me. It seemed a little bit too, I don't know. It just didn't grab me. I didn't like any of the people. After one episode, I wasn't like, I am compelled to see how this plays out. Anyway, that's all I got. Hi, Frankie. Frankie's in the chat room saying hi. Should we get started with today's show? I think we should. As I explained, we do it in 4 quarters, so let's get started. It is, excuse me, just turned my phone on. It is the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 16th day of September, year of our Lord 2024. Did you know it is the 260th day of the year? Quick math, 106 days remain. Wow. We're gonna be like 100 days out from 2025 in just a week. Crazy. Less than a week. All right, let's do quarter 1. This is antecedently on this day. What is antecedently on this day? It's a fancy way for me to say this day in history. Not a whole lot going on, man. If I'm being honest, this whole segment, the first 3 quarters, not a whole lot happening. Antecedently on this day in the year 1908, General Motors is founded. General Motors, GM. See what I mean? There's not a whole lot going on in history on this day. Antecedently on this day in 1920, the Wall Street bombing. A bomb in a horse wagon explodes in front of the J.P. Morgan building in New York City, killing 38 and injuring 400. Not exactly a can't wait to tell the kids that around the dinner table tonight kind of story, is it? I'm telling you, there's not a whole lot going on here. Antecedently on this day in 1992, the trial of deposed Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega ends in the United States with a 40-year sentence for drug trafficking and money laundering. I don't know. I can't even, you know me, I'll take any opportunity to rant. I don't know what the pineapple face. Hey, I don't know what do I say about Manuel Noriega? Antecedently on this day in the year 2013, a gunman kills 12 people at the okay, we're done. This is the Washington Naval Yard killings. This is not a good day. Let's move on to some birthdays. Certainly the birthdays will be better. All right, these are people who were born on this day. We decide, are they cool or not? Born on this day in 1911, Paul Henning. Do you guys know who Paul Henning is? Oh, man, Paul Henning. Paul Henning is one of these guys that, so I don't know how I phrase this. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but it was just like one of those things that we used to talk about when I was in college. And I don't know where it came from. I think I might have created it, but I don't know that for sure. Like, I just remember we used to talk about this, me and some of my friends in college, late at night, when you're talking about how weird the world is. Paul Henning was a television producer. Paul Henning was a very successful television producer in the 60s and the 70s. But most notably, Paul Henning was the creator of the Beverly Hillbillies. Paul Henning was the creator of Green Acres. Paul Henning was the creator of Petticoat Junction. Paul Henning was sort of the guy who introduced American TV to that rural kind of television. So there was a period of time when all the shows were rural. And then in the 70s, Norman Lear came in and he's like, let's not do rural anymore. And everything was Mary Tyler Moore show and, big cities and all that. But before that, it's Andy Griffith, even like the Dick Van Dyke show back then. Although he worked in New York City, he lived in New Rochelle, New York, which at that time was really rural. It was way outside New York City. One of the first suburbs there. Anyway, point is this. Paul Henning was the king of the rural shows. And my thesis on Paul Henning was that he was actually a communist and that he was creating these shows in order to very subversively change the way the American people view the moneylenders, view capitalism, view American capitalism. And if you look at Paul Henning's shows, whether you're looking at Beverly Hillbillies or Green Acres or even Petticoat Junction to a lesser extent, but if you look at his shows, they all have the same message. The message is don't trust the banker. Don't trust the American money guy. Trust the rural, salt of the earth, smart man who owns and makes money off of what he owns and tills. That's a very communist message. Now it's not obvious. It wasn't obvious in any of those, but all of his shows had that messaging. That you don't trust the banker, that you don't trust the people with money, that if you are a success, if you make a success of yourself in America, at some point they will come and try and manipulate you. They will try and exploit you. That was Paul Henning, and I maintain he's a communist. He was writing communist propaganda, and he was subversively introducing it to the American people in the form of the Beverly Hillbillies, Green Acres, and Petticoat Junction. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Paul Henning, American super producer, born on this day in 1911. Born on this day in 1927. How about Peter Falk? Get some story. There's a story about Peter Falk. Probably Columbo. Do you even know? Columbo's even like a little bit before my time. Like, I don't even really remember Columbo. I remember like 10 years after Columbo went off the air, I remember like the made-for-TV Columbo movies, but I don't know that I remember early 70s Columbo. Peter Falk. There you go. Born on this day. I guess he's cool. What was his bit? He was filthy. Was he a bum? What was Peter Falk? What was Columbo? Was Columbo a bum? He was a cop, I know. He was dirty, right? Wasn't that his thing? Hey, one more thing. I mean, I know he was like a good detective, Peter Falk as Columbo. But he had a problem with, I bet he stunk. Where was that scene where people are like, Columbo, you smell like body odor again? Peter Falk, born on this day in 1927. Born on this day in 1949, one of my favorite sleeper comedic actors in the history of America. He appears in, first of all, he pops up in some of the greatest films in just one-off roles where he's only in it for a scene and you're like, oh man, I forget how awesome Ed Begley Jr. is. Ed Begley Jr. is hysterical. He's really great. When I was talking about him popping up in one-offs, he is not one of Christopher Guest's stable actors, but he appears in a scene in just about every Chris Guest movie. I mean, all the way back to that wasn't even Chris Guest, was it? Spinal Tap? It probably inspired Chris Guest. But anyway, he was even in Spinal Tap. My favorite one is where he plays the hotel manager in Best in Show. If you've ever seen Chris Guest's Best in Show mockumentary film about the dog, it's about the Westminster dog show and all that. Anyway, Ed Begley Jr. plays the hotel manager. He's very funny. I like Begley. I am a Begley head. I'm very Begleyan. His dad, by the way, his dad was super famous. Not for us, not for our generation, because he wasn't so famous that he, transcended generations and we all remember him. But there was a reason that Ed Begley Jr. is known as, all right, you know what? We're going to get into this now. This is a natural way for me to get into this. We're going to get into this now, okay? Because shit's got to stop. Ed Begley Jr. is known as Ed Begley Jr. because, you see, his father was an accomplished actor before him, and his father's name was Ed Begley. And Ed Begley had a child, okay, who also went into acting. So in order to distinguish between the two, because we already knew who Ed Begley was, we knew who 12 Angry Men, trust me, if you saw, go Google Ed Begley, not Ed Begley Jr., Google Ed Begley. And if you've ever seen an old black and white film, you'll go, oh shit, that's Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. I didn't know that. I always think of 12 Angry Men when I think of Ed Begley, but whatever. So Ed Begley is an actor, and he's famous, and his name is Ed Begley. He has a kid. He wants the kid to be, the next in line. This is something that happens. We name our children after ourselves. So he names the kid Ed Begley. And around the family, he's probably known as Junior, right? Ed Begley Jr. Ed Begley Jr. at 19 or 20 decides to become an actor. So he goes and becomes an actor, but he can't be Ed Begley because there's already an Ed Begley. He's Ed Begley Jr. That's how it's done. That's why. There was Cal Ripken, and then his son came along, and he's Cal Ripken Jr. See? Cal Ripken. You know what Cal Ripken never was? You know what Ed Begley never was? And this is driving me insane. And you son of a bitch football players who are just too dumb to recognize how ignorant you look. Ed Begley, the father of Ed Begley Jr., was never known as Ed Begley Sr., okay? The honorific of senior is never to be used. It's not supposed to be used. It's redundant. If there is a junior, there is an obvious expectation that you are the senior and you are the first of that name. Therefore, you don't need any unnecessary honorifics like senior because you were first. That's just your name. Your child needs to be a junior. And then his child is a third. Hi, I'm a third. I'm a third. I'm a third. That's why this is such a passionate subject for me. So here's what I'm pissed off about, okay? I just explained to you how it's supposed to work. There's no fucking such thing as a Cal Ripken Sr. or an Ed Begley Sr., okay? You don't need that. You are that name. Your child is the next. That's why there's a junior, so that they're not confused with you. You are that name! I am seeing 1,000,000 22-year-old football players out there running around with senior on their name because they pumped out a kid that they named after him. And I've got a junior. He's 6 months old. He's accomplished nothing, but I'm concerned people are going to confuse me for him. So I'm adding the senior. Stop it. There is no fucking such thing as a senior on the back of a jersey. It's incorrect and it's ignorant, and normalizing these sorts of things only make us less sophisticated. They only make us less civilized. This is so stupid. Every time I see a motherfucking football player out there running around with the name, hey, my name is Herman Johnson Sr. Senior? You're 23 years old. Yes, but I've got a junior. Yeah, and that's why you called him junior, because you're already using that name. You don't need senior. Now, here's where you might need senior, and it would be applied by someone else in writing about you. If your child becomes famous, more famous than you, then when referring to you, people will refer to you as senior. But that is not your obligation to go, I'm senior and I'm going to wear it on the back of my jacket. These are the things that keep me up. This is why I'm a madman. I know I say that the show is for normal people, but it's so that normal people can get a look at what an abnormal person is. That's me. Adam says one of my favorite bands is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Christine says too much. It's not too much caffeine. It is probably also too much caffeine, now that I think about it. But I'm watching football yesterday, and I saw like three different dudes with senior. And I've been seeing this for a couple of years, and every time I see somebody with Jones Sr., or whatever their name is, I always go, oh, well, he's proud that he has a son that he named after himself. Oh, there's one dude whose son isn't even named after him. That's it. That's what I forgot. Who is that guy? There was a dude who had a son, and he's now changed his uniform name on the back to Senior because he's had a son. Son has a completely different name than him. Completely different name. But he's still out there rocking the made-up Senior designate. I don't know what we're doing here. I have no idea what we're doing here anymore. As a people, we lack sophistication to such a degree. It is absolutely, it's just one by one, we lower what we consider to be normal. We've normalized these stupid, unsophisticated, anti-civil ideas. Sports Bras says, never got the Senior. But Sports Bras now watches a lot of sports. This is only within the last couple of years that we have seen dudes who, in all of these cases, by the way, because I've seen them, or I've looked them up, at least not all of them, but some of them, they all have kids. They all have sons. And it's like, well, now that I'm a father, I'm going to put Senior on the back. Is your son named the same as you? Nope. Well, then why you don't have to change your name? All right. Ed Begley Jr. They did it right. There was no Ed Begley Sr. It's Ed Begley. There was a Hollywood actor named Ed Begley. He was very popular. People liked him. He had a son. The son also went into acting. And in order to not be confused, the son went with Jr. Ed Begley didn't start calling himself Ed Begley Sr. He didn't. Ed Begley Jr., born on this day in 1949. Born on this day in 1952, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke. Talk about Columbo. Remember, I was like, I bet Columbo had bad body hygiene. But that's a character. Like I am sure Peter Falk took baths. I can't say the same for Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke, isn't Mickey Rourke? And so I'm Gen X. Gen X gather around. Some of you millennials as well, and some of you younger boomers. Let's talk about Mickey Rourke. I think he's a guy that Hollywood really tried to make a thing. Like for about 2-3 years in like the mid 80s, Hollywood was like, we're cramming him down your throat. He's Mickey Rourke. And I think that most people in America went like, yeah, no, I'm going to pass on that. I don't think I want Mickey Rourke. We would do the same thing years later with Armie Hammer. They tried to force Armie Hammer on us. And we just collectively as a nation went, yeah, no, we're good. We don't need Armie Hammer. And then it turns out he eats people, or at least that's what he was accused of doing. So now that was good. See, the American people looked at Armie Hammer and went, eh. We looked at Mickey Rourke and went, he probably smells like cigarettes. Here's what Mickey Rourke smells like to me, okay? Here's what Mickey Rourke smells like. He smells like cigarettes, like always. Like that's the first thing. Cigarettes in like a wet leather jacket, he's like out in the rain, like a wet leather jacket, cigarettes, wet leather jacket, and body odor. That's it. That's Mickey Rourke. That's what I imagine. Cigarette, wet leather jacket, body odor. Ugh. I don't get Mickey Rourke. I never got Mickey Rourke. You know what I got? The only thing about Mickey Rourke's career that I got was when he disappeared for 25 years. That's it. It's the only part of his career that I got. Yeah, I understand why he's not working, because he's fucking weird. Mickey Rourke, born on this day in 1952. Born on this day in 1956. Talk about weird. David Copperfield. Ugh, this guy. I was working at the Loop in Chicago, and he came on to be a guest on the morning show. And this is when he was dating Claudia Schiffer, the supermodel. And this is when Claudia Schiffer was doing the Guess ads. Remember when she replaced Pam? What was her name? Not Pam. Anna Nicole. Excuse me. She replaced Anna Nicole as the second guest girl. That's how I think Claudia Schiffer became famous. Actually, she may have been before. Yeah, I may have that reversed. It may have been Claudia Schiffer was first and then Anna Nicole. I don't know. Whatever it was, she was very big at the time and she was dating David Copperfield, and they came into the radio station and I had to take them with their little group of people. They walked in with 10 people. I had to take them all to the green room and make sure that they were comfortable. And I can tell you this, that in that 45 seconds to maybe a minute and 15, that I spent with David Copperfield and Claudia Schiffer, they sucked. They just sucked. I don't know how else to tell you. The vibe, the energy. I wouldn't know from being, they didn't say a goddamn word to me, even though I spoke to them directly a number of times. They didn't say a goddamn word to me. In fact, I had said something to David Copperfield, and he immediately turned to one of his people and started talking to his person about something else. And I was like, all right, fuck this. I guess I don't need. And Claudia Schiffer just was like a robot. She was just like she didn't say anything. And I was trying really hard, not to like look at her, but I got to look at her. She was pretty. However, I got to be honest. She doesn't make my top 5 most beautiful women I've ever seen. She just doesn't. I'm sorry to say. They were weird. They were weirdos. David Copperfield was weird. He gave me a very, I guess, oh, really? The magician guy who's all this is weird. He is. He's weird. Proof positive. He's not a phony. He's definitely a weird guy. David Copperfield, born on this day in 1956, born on this day in 1963. Richard Marx. Love Richard Marx. I love Richard Marx. Southside. It's from Oak Lawn, Illinois. Richard Marx. His father, Richard Marx's father, is a very famous jingle writer in Chicago. Richard Marx's dad wrote like 588-2300. What else did you write? When you're thinking Lincoln, better carpeting for let's call national tune. All of these television jingles that we all grew up with were written by Richard Marx's dad. So I like Richard Marx. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be. Pussy songs, those are all pussy songs. And he looked like, kind of he had that hair. But here's what's up with Richard Marx. Funny as fuck and really smart. Good Twitter follow. Okay, he used to get a little political. I don't know if he has in a while. Maybe he's off Twitter. But he's funny. And I was, when somebody like Richard Marx, don't mean nothing, no victim, no crime. You don't expect much from him on Twitter. And then when they start rattling off shit that make you laugh, you're like, hey, all right, baby. Anyway, happy birthday, Richard Marx. He's also married to a legendary hottie. I can't remember who it is. He's married, it's like Richard Marx married somebody who was like, at their career apex at the same time as Richard Marx. So it's like, holy shit, they're married? What is it, 1989? Daisy Fuentes. That's it. Richard Marx is married to Daisy Fuentes, and they seem like a really fun couple. Yeah, there you go. KB knows. Daisy Fuentes. Born on this day in 1963. Born on this day in 1964, Molly Shannon. Molly Shannon. I like her. Saturday Night Live. I think she's kind of underrated, right? Is she kind of an underrated? I think she's kind of underrated. I like Molly Shannon. Anyway, happy birthday, Molly Shannon. Born on this day in 1964. Born on this day in 1971, Amy Poehler, ladies and gentlemen. Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler, who I need to point out, because now I have to do this every time her name comes up. I need to point out that I absolutely 100% did not hang out with and have drinks with Amy Poehler back in 1996-7 at the Old Town Pub across the street from the Improv while she was working there as a waitress. I told that story for years. I always tell the story about how when I was working for Kevin Matthews, we were sent down by Kevin, myself and a guy named Doc, who was a producer. We were sent after the show. He said, go down. I want you guys to start hanging out around the Improv. I want you guys to start hanging out, or not the Improv, the Second City. I want you hanging out. Go to the bar, start talking to people. We were a very popular show. And Kevin wanted us down there. He wanted us to find people. He wanted us to find characters. He wanted to find people that could appear on the morning show, do voices and all that stuff. Smart. I mean, it's why we hung out at the Improv so much back when we were doing Pugs and Kelly here. So we were down there, me and Doc, and we met a waitress came over. They had heard that we were looking for somebody to do a character of, this was Monica Lewinsky, if you remember back in was it Monica Lewinsky? Was she the first one? Anyway, I don't know. No, it was Tanya Harding. Tanya Harding, that's what it was. We were looking for Tanya Hardings and Nancy Kerrigan's and, people like that. Characters to characterize that. And so these two girls came over and they started talking to us as Doc and Pugs from the show, and they were very nice and all that. And for years, I told the story about how those two girls were Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. My friend Joe, who was also there, Joe has corrected me on this recently within the last few months. It was Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch. It was Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch, not our birthday girl, Amy Poehler. Happy birthday, Amy Poehler. I guess I never met you, but I've been going through life thinking I did. And I've been applying my feelings towards Rachel Dratch onto you all these years. I don't know you at all, Amy Poehler. Happy birthday, Amy Poehler. Born on this day in 1971. Born on this day in 1981, Alexis Bledel. Good Lord, she's 43 years old. This is weird. Alexis Bledel played, of course, Rory Gilmore on the Gilmore Girls. Anybody who listened to my show back in the day, you know that I was like, Tuesday night, let's go. Gilmore Girls night. I loved Gilmore Girls. I loved Alexis Bledel. She was Rory. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was into Mom. I mean, I was there for Mom. I was there for, Lauren Graham. But she had an adorable little daughter, and I thought that was great. I got started watching Gilmore Girls in its second season, I think, because if you remember the stories I used to tell, I was dating this girl, and Gilmore Girls was her favorite show. And for some reason, every time it was on, she was at my house, and she was like, we got to watch Gilmore Girls. So as a part of, this early relationship, I started watching Gilmore Girls with her every Tuesday night. And what started out as me going, this is so stupid. These broads are dumb, turned into me going, do you think they're going to get back together? It totally changed me within a couple of episodes. And then the relationship ended, and then I was with Gilmore Girls for the rest of the series. Just, let's go, Gilmore Girls. It was a great show. Smart show, well-written, funny, sensitive. Yeah. So here's what's weird about that. Rory Gilmore to me is a little kid. Like, I will always see Rory Gilmore, Alexis Bledel, who was born on this day in 1981, as a little kid because of that show. She's like in her mid-40s now. She's 43? How old is she? How old would she be? That's crazy. Anyway, happy birthday, little Rory. God, that makes me feel old. Oh. My God. Happy birthday, Alexis Bledel. Rory Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. Let's do some deads. These are people who claiming they're dead on this day. I don't know. I ain't seen them around, but whatever. Here we go. Dead on this day, 1977. Here is a goddamn legend, an icon. Somebody, most people, nobody knows. That's not true. I mean, real rock and roll enthusiasts know this guy, but he's an interesting case of I've got a theory on it too, and I'll explain it to you. Typically, when rock stars who are at the apex of their careers, when they die at that point, regardless of how much of a back catalog they left, whether it's just 1 or 2 albums or 10 albums, doesn't matter. They are typically deified in that moment. Kurt Cobain has been deified. Jimi Hendrix has been deified. Jim Morrison has been deified. They die young, and it's like, and they become deified. And in many cases, certainly in the case of Jim Morrison, I think they're overvalued by future generations that come after. Oh man, he's like the greatest of all time, But again, I believe these things happen because they died young. Well, on this day, a real fucking rock star and one of the most important rock stars in the history of rock and roll, a guy who influenced, let's just say a guy who directly influenced and a guy who, like, these people have said, he's the one. Mick Jagger, Elton John, David Bowie, the guy who they all went, he was doing it the right way, is almost completely forgotten by rock and roll history. I mean, he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and his band is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but absolutely nobody talks of the greatness of Mark Bolan Dead on this day in 1977. Mark Bolan, the leader, guitar player, songwriter, singer of T-Rex, which was, for a period of time, one of the biggest bands in the world for like 3 years. I mean, I think as far as we know, Bang a Gong, is that it? They have a couple other hits. But Mark Bolan was a goddamn, he invented glam rock. That was like him. All the shit you saw Bowie doing afterwards, he took that right from Mark Bolan. Mark Bolan created glam rock, which created emo, which essentially created a whole era of like alt guitar, garage rock, punk rock with makeup and high. I mean, just the New York Dolls. Mark Bolan is important in the history of rock and roll, certainly in the history of the last 40 to 50 years of rock and roll. Now, he died on this day in 1977, and nobody even knows who he is. Here's why. He didn't die a rock and roll death. All those other people that I talked about, Kurt Cobain, couldn't take it, man, didn't want to be famous, took his own life. Everybody else doing drugs because it's very rock and roll. Mark Bolan died in a car accident. Just a very pedestrian way for someone to die. Died in a car accident in 1977. And we completely, I think, have failed to mythologize him in the way that he would have. If he had OD'd in the back of a van while on tour, I think we'd have a completely different sort of understanding of Mark Bolan. But because of, he died the way he died, when he died, there wasn't this pearl clutching and hand wringing of, oh, gone too soon and such a tragedy. Why did he do this to himself? Oh, he must be so tortured. And, that spurs the mythology, the romance of the storytelling. He died in a car accident. Somebody blew a red light and he's dead. And people are like, well, fuck, that could basically nothing he could have done about that. I really do think that that's influenced the way we think about Mark Bolan. Anyway, he's going to heaven because I feel like Mark Bolan kind of got short-shifted here on Earth. Hey, we'll go easy. That's it. That's the only one. We're just going to do the one death today. Also, Maria Callas. She was an opera singer. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I maybe got to do one more. She was an opera singer, Maria Callas. And I don't know anything about her. I know she's a famous opera singer. I know, all of that good stuff, but I don't know anything about her. So whatever, Maria Callas. All right, guys, here, I need you to do me a favor here. I will remind you one more time that today's executive producer is the wonderful Mike D. Thank you so much. Mike D supported the show on Friday, the big tipper of the day's show. Like if you're a big tipper today, you will be the executive producer on tomorrow's show. So thank you to our buddy Mike D. If you want to support the show, you can do it like that. I got to do something real quick. Folks, I am so sorry. I have got to run to the bathroom. I typically use the restroom before we sign on. And I never do this. I never leave. So just understand this is a one-off. I got to use the bathroom. So just give me a couple of seconds, all right? And we'll be right back. We'll start quarter 4. We'll get into all the hot topics and all that stuff, okay? Okay, be right back. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Frank says that I'm running with scissors. Okay. Jeff says dropping the kids off at the pool. No, would have taken. No, I had to take a piss. Come on. Let's not make it weird. We're grown ass people. I typically like to try and go to the bathroom before we start streaming. And today I was on the phone talking with somebody and I didn't go to the bathroom. And so the whole show started in the back of my mind. I think this might be a little bit of, self-conjured. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to have to pee within the next 2 hours because I haven't peed. I'm drinking half a pot of coffee. And yeah, here we are. Dropping the kids off at the pool. That's so funny. I don't do that. That's an inside joke. That just reminds us. Some of you may remember my former partner, Kelly, did not defecate. She didn't go number 2. She will die. She probably died on that hill, to put it that way. She would never cop to having defecated ever in her life. Maybe that's what killed her. She had 50 years of shit. No, she said, I do not do that. Maybe some other girls do that, but I don't do that. Refused to acknowledge that she was a functioning human being with normal bowel movements and all that. She would not admit it. All right, let's talk about what's happening in the world. Okay, let's get in now to what we'll call quarter four. Quarter four, these are the hot topics, current events, headlines, and all that stuff. We're going to start off with the Trump story. We don't do politics on this show. I hate politics, and mostly I just hate people who completely define themselves and brand themselves exclusively and entirely about politics. I hate that. If you're walking around, if you've got a sign on your yard, you just want to let random people know, this is how I think. I don't have time for you. We don't need that. You go out in public wearing a provocative hat or a button or whatever, and it's both sides. It's both sides. These people driving around Texas with, Kamala, Waltz bumper stickers, which is fine, I suppose, but you're doing it in Texas. You know full well that you're being provided. Just don't. What, Pugs? You're not allowed? Yeah, not allowed to anymore. Not allowed to anymore. You're not allowed to. I can't show my support for a politician. You shouldn't. You can, because we still believe in America, but you shouldn't. Why shouldn't you? Because you should read the fucking room. Read the fucking room and understand that this is a little bit different now. The last couple of years have been a little bit different than they were back in the 80s and then the 90s, where it was like, yeah, show your spirit and your support. Fucking just stop it. Everybody stop it. Acknowledge that we're in a different time. So I hate all that. I hate all of it. But we got to start with some politics because, you know what? No, I refuse to play into that game. I'm going to talk about the Trump golf course incident, which is about as far as I am willing to go. The Trump golf course incident. We'll talk about this. I have a hot take. And it's not even a hot take. It is what I am leaning towards. I'm like, well, what is it probably? It's probably this. Here's what I think it is. All right, so a dude had a long gun, say an AK-47. It's not an AR-15. This is not, a Walmart special. This is an AK-47. Again, I hate to lean on my knowledge of the Sons of Anarchy, but I am in the middle of watching. That's a Sons of Anarchy weapon, the AK-47. It's a European, right? A Russian or a Eastern European gun. I don't know. So Trump's out there golfing. He's at the Trump National Golf Course. He's out there golfing Sunday. Looked like a nice day. And he's got an advanced team. He's got an advanced Secret Service team, which duh. I mean, I'm like, I guess I never really thought about how it works when he golfs, but I pretty much would have assumed that there was something like this. So the advanced Secret Service team works about 2 holes ahead of where the president is, and they work to, sort of skim the sight lines and look for this and look for that and, see if anything's weird. Just make sure it's clear. It's clear. The area is clear. The president could come through, vice whatever he is, former president. So they were doing that, and they saw one of the dudes saw a gun barrel through the bushes. Like it was in the bushes, and there's a fence, and there's bushes, and the gun barrel, which is, man, you want to talk about eagle eye. Jesus. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty lucky. The Secret Service, first of all, can we just say, having taken all kinds of abuse, man, talking about defunding the Secret Service and people, we hate the Secret Service. The Secret Service was involved in trying to get Trump killed in Butler, all of that. For the Secret Service to now have this moment, nice. Good job, guys. I mean, that's really great. So 2 holes ahead of where the president was, Secret Service, an agent spots this gun, which we're now being told, an AK-47, spots this gun, and he just spots the gun. That's what he does. He spots the gun. He sees it. He's like, don't, God, God, and he draws, and he starts firing. So apparently, this dude didn't fire. He just, the Secret Service saw the gun and did what the Secret Service is supposed to be. Gun, right? That's what we want. I'm not saying anything critical of the Secret Service here. That's what you do. If you're clearing the area for the president and you're walking ahead and you see a gun barrel sticking out of the woods, you shoot first. Your only job is to secure the area for the president of the United States, and that is quite obviously a direct threat. Take it out, no questions asked. You don't go, hey, fella, what you got going on over there? That is not how the Secret Service is supposed to handle this. So they did what they're supposed to do. Again, let's recap. Just an incredible lucky, I see him, incredible lucky get for an obviously really good and diligent Secret Service agent. It's really good. He saw it. And again, I'll point out, they could really use a story like this. The Secret Service, they've been taking shit since Butler, since actually before that. So this is very good. So again, shoots first. And why wouldn't he? That's what we want. This is what the Secret Service does. Dude with the AR or AK, he freaks out, leaves the gun, leaves backpacks. Apparently he had a GoPro, left all of that and went whoop, 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 ran away, whoop, whoop. I mean, right past a woman who's like, what you doing? And he all but said, I just tried to murder the president. Whoop, whoop. No, he didn't. Of course he didn't. But it seems like if they had added that to this story that we're being fed, why not? Probably people would have believed that too. No, he ran right past a witness. Ran right past a witness to his car, which was parked right there in the open, where a bunch of other people could just see the car. He gets in his car, he gets on the interstate, where if someone were to put an all-points bulletin out on somebody, you stay off the interstates, man. That's like criminal 101. If you know everybody, every police, if you know they're looking, you stay off the interstates. You get in the neighborhoods and you zigzag and you go where there probably aren't cops, but if you just tried to shoot Trump in Florida and you get on an interstate, do you not think that the APB is going to have every cop on the interstate looking for anybody that matches the description of the car that, oh yeah, a witness saw? The witness saw him, described him. Saw the car, described the car. Saw the license plates. So this dude gets in the car and immediately starts racing up the highway. He's pulled over immediately. Like, boo! pulls him over immediately by just that county sheriff's department. Let's hear it for them too, huh? And here we were thinking that like the local police, the local county police and the Secret Service and the feds couldn't get along. I mean, remember what happened in Butler? That clusterfuck? Oh my God. That was embarrassing what happened. Not this one. This one, man, this is textbook. Thank God for the great working relationship between our local municipal police forces and the feds. Thank God. So dude gets pulled over. Dude gets out of the car. Dude says nothing. Dude is doesn't say anything. And he gets arrested. Everybody's fine. Thankfully, President Trump is okay. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt because the only people who fired bullets were the Secret Service. So here's a long way. That was a long way for me to get to this point. I don't buy any of this. I don't buy any of this, man. I'm sorry. I try not to be cynical. But when it comes to certain aspects of this current campaign, I am very cynical. And one of those aspects are, do I put anything past certain people? No, I don't. And, you know, Trump looked absolutely unbeatable a month ago after Butler, Pennsylvania. Do you remember that? Do you remember fight? How awesome that was? Jesus, I hate the dude. And I saw that and I was like, I might vote for him. I don't know, man. That fight. I mean, that was so badass. He was unbeatable at that moment. And then Biden drops out. Kamala comes in. The Dems have a big thing. Trump has all of this embarrassing loss in the debate. Shit is looking bad. He's down in all the polls. He is desperate. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he's not even aware of it. See, here's the other thing. He may not even be involved in this stuff. I don't think he's the mastermind going, here's what we do. But I do think he's got some really shady people around him, man. He has in the last week brought in Laura Loomer to be one of his chief advisors, one of his like closest confidants. He's being widely criticized for it because she's fucking nuts. So these are the people that are, you know, in positions of power. So I'm being asked to believe that this whole thing that again screams headlines, assassination of President Trump, and where people are going to be like, oh, why are they trying to kill him? I mean, he's desperate for something that is going to bring people back to him. Do I put it past his people to manufacture something fucking weird like this? No shots were fired. This dude, whoever this guy is, and we got his name and all that here. I'll give you, we'll go through all of that stuff. But this dude is going to be, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong other than maybe trespass, hanging out in a weird part. But if that gun is legal, and maybe it's not because maybe there are some gun charges. But my whole point is this. It's not like he's going to jail forever. He didn't fire on the president. He was just there. Is he a patsy? He seems to be a fucking lunatic. Whoever this guy is seems to be crazy. Let's say whoever this guy is. Here, let's learn about him, shall we? All right, here we go. You know what? Here, we'll pull it up on this one. It just seems so shady. And again, I hate being so cynical. But again, these are the people, I don't know, these are the people that seem to be most willing to believe in conspiracy theories. So if you are someone who believes in conspiracy theories and the likelihood that they're all true, if you're one of those people, you might try to engage in your own thinking that, yes, this makes perfect sense because I believe in all kinds of, I don't know, I'm just very confused about it. I don't put anything, I don't think this is real. That's where we'll go. I don't know who's to blame for it. I don't think this is real. And I hate the QAnon people. I hate the, false flags. This isn't real. I mean, this isn't exactly Sandy Hook, okay? So I'm comfortable saying I am denying that actually happened the way it was presented to us. I am denying that the president, former President Trump, was ever in any danger whatsoever. It is just too convenient to me to have the Secret Service be so on point this time. I mean, last time in Butler, we know how embarrassed they were, but now at this point, now they're like nailing it. They're like, we're so good. We spotted a camouflaged barrel of a gun sticking out between a bunch of tree branches in a bush shrub wall of a golf course. We spotted. You can't spot that. You can't spot that. I'm sorry. Just if what we're being led to believe is true, it's just the barrel of a gun sticking through a wall of shrubbery that has twigs and sticks and brown things and black things all over it. And a cop walking the fairway ahead of President Trump, a Secret Service cop, is going to quickly scan and go, that's not a twig. That's obviously a gun. I just don't buy it. I just don't. And it seems way too convenient for the Secret Service to have had such a big win. What a win. Look at us. And then to cut in the local law enforcement. That county sheriff down there, whatever county that is, he's doing TV where it's like, yeah, we got him really quick. That was some great teamwork between the federal agencies and local law enforcement. And I'm just happy that we were able to work together in such an incredibly effective way. And this is very good for you guys. This is very good for you guys. This is very good for President Trump because it's like, oh, they're trying to kill me. It's very good, very good. At a time when you need some very good because there ain't a lot of very good happening. All right, let's learn about this clown show, shall we? Apparently, he's a Ukraine freak. Apparently, he's got a car with a bumper sticker that says he supported Biden-Harris in 2020, which I'm sure has got MAGA Twitter going nuts on that one. See, based on this one photo of a 4-year-old bumper sticker, I am going to completely have a fully fleshed out understanding of who this guy is, and he meets all of the criteria of people I hate. Liberal, lefty, you don't know what he is. He's a fucking weirdo is what he is. Fucking weirdo. He's a gun. First of all, he's a gun. He likes his guns. He loves his guns. He loved to cosplay as a mercenary. Went over to Ukraine and fought over there. Hates Putin. I like that about him. I like that he hates Putin. All right, let's learn about who this fucking guy is. And let's look at him too. And I feel bad because his son, he's got a 35-year-old son. All right, let's look at this. Let's see who this clown is. Okay. His name is, of course, Ryan Wesley Ruth. This is one of those stupid British tabloids. All right, there he is. All right, let's see what we got here. This is the guy who gave himself up peacefully after no police chase. I mean, just, come on, man. What is this guy doing? Oh, it's so weird. The Secret Service fired at him. He left everything. He left a backpack. He left 2 backpacks. He left a GoPro camera, and he left an AK behind that he never fired. And then he ran very publicly, seen by a number of people, including a witness who was so close that she could identify him physically and got the license number. And then he speeds off and he gets on the fucking interstate, which is just like, look at me. If anybody's looking for me, you can get a helicopter up here and you can probably pick me out real quick. It's not like I'm going to go zigzagging through this like weird forestry, swampy Florida landscape. No, I'm going to get on the interstate because I want you guys in like 2 exits down. He gets pulled over. Boop, boop. He pulls over. Gets out of his car, puts his hands up, doesn't say anything. My God, man. And plus, he's a dude who spent all this time over in the Ukraine. I think he's a super spook. I think he's a super spook. And I think he's supposed to have been caught. I think he's being sacrificed. I don't know by who, for what purpose. I have no idea who's paying him. I have no idea whose side he's on. But this is all so fucking weird, man. And then his son is like talking, going, yeah, this is not who my dad is. I mean, my dad hated Trump. I mean, most regular people do. That's a quote from his son. He goes, but I never had any indication that he would do something like this. Officially, what do we know about this guy, Ryan Wesley Ruth? He's 58 years old. He's a roofer. Grew up in North Carolina, now lives in Hawaii. He runs a roofing company in Hawaii. The backpacks, incidentally, the backpacks were filled with roofing tiles. What? Although, here's what I think. Could he have filled those backpacks up with, I mean, obviously there was nothing else fantastic in the backpacks because we've heard no reports about what was in the backpacks. So obviously we're to assume that just shit. There's just garbage, nothing important in the backpacks because the FBI showed us the gun, the backpacks, and the GoPro. They lined them up right there against the fence. You would think that if there was and there was, 20 pounds of cocaine in that, they would tell us. There were explosives. There were bullets. There was none. They didn't tell us what was in the backpacks. Other than I saw one report that said that there were roofing tiles, which would make sense because this clown show's a roofer. But that's all. They said just roofing tiles. So here's what I'm thinking. I think that he had 2 backpacks filled with roofing tiles that he believed he might be able to use as some kind of a shield for if they started to fire on him from the position. Now, this is, if he is legit a guy who was going to try and shoot the president, because he didn't shoot, he ran. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, so here's another option that he might be. He might just be one of these guys who is absolutely a fool. He's a little bit crazy. He's a little bit off kilter. He sees himself as this brave, heroic patriot. So much so that he was, cosplaying as a mercenary over there in the Ukraine. I'm going to war because I'm a real man. He's not. He's just a fucking weirdo who needs to be on his meds. But instead, he's running around. He ran an organization that supposedly recruited international fighters to go to the Ukraine. So that's what he was doing there. And he went there, apparently. He's nuts, though. He's obviously nuts. Okay, here we go. Here he is. Look at him. Look at him. One day, this guy's going to try and kill the president. Oh, that's the other thing. So he's cosplaying all this stuff. Yeah, macho. Look at me. Look at how macho I am. I like guns. I'm going to Ukraine. I'm going to fucking put a bullet in Putin's head. I'm macho. Look at me. Look at me. And then, the moment, came and he went, whoop, 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 whoop. That's if you believe he's a legit assassin. I don't even know that I believe he's a legit assassin. I think he might be a crazy patsy set up by people like Bannon. I'm serious. This is the kind of Steve Bannon. You don't think that he knows spooks and that they do all this corporate. Dude, do you guys not watch TV? There are all these shows about people at this level. You ever seen Billions? Billionaires have these guys at their disposal. They used to be called in more civilized times fixers, but now they're just, they'll just murder people all around. They'll set up these big, elaborate incidents to occur that look totally natural, but really it's just a billionaire trying to kill somebody. I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't put it past Trump either themselves inside. And again, I don't even know that Trump is aware of this, but I do think that there are people like Roger Stone, people like Steve Bannon, crazy people, and now Laura Loomer, these crazy people. No, I do not put it past them to try and stage an assassination attempt in order to get public sentiment back on his side the way it was a month ago after Butler. No, I don't put it past Laura Loomer, Steve Bannon, and Roger Stone. I don't. I'm sorry. Call me fucking nuts. And it also could just be a crazy fucking person who was like, and when the moment came, I'll say this about these libtard assassins. They suck. They are not good at being the assassin. All right, let's see what else do we have here about this guy. All right, so here's a picture of what they found. Can we see this? So those are the 2 backpacks, which I guess were filled with roofing tiles, which I think, and again, didn't hear this anywhere. I just think it makes sense. I'm like, if I'm a roofer, I'm like, what if they shoot at me? What if I get 2 backpacks and I fill it with roofing tiles? Maybe that'll deflect the bullets. Texas, I don't know what Steve Bannon is in federal prison. Yeah. So, I mean, do you not understand federal prison doesn't mean that you still can't run a street gang? You certainly can run whatever the hell it is Steve Bannon runs. You can still be in charge of shit. I hope Frank ain't making excuses for Steve Bannon. No, Steve Bannon can't be involved in this kind of... Steve Bannon is closely advising this fucking campaign. And if you don't know that, you ain't been reading. There's been endless stories about Steve Bannon's influence. And now I'm telling you, Laura Loomer, this is desperate. They are desperate. And I wouldn't put this, staging this kind of thing, I wouldn't put it, I just, come on, man. Come on. Texas Rangers, Roger Stone isn't crazy. Old maybe, but not crazy. Okay, Frank. Okay, Frank. What? Yeah, he is, Frank. You got Frank. Frank. Look, let's not do this, okay, Frank? Let's not do this, Frank. Roger Stone is a fucking madman. He's not crazy. Old. He has been a fucking madman since the 1980s. Do you know the stories about him going off on the New York legislature back in the 1980s and 90s? Do you know about his role in the whole Elliot Spitzer thing? He has been a dirtbag, willing to do absolutely anything since Roger Stone, walked away, very ugly, by the way, from Roy Cohn. That's right, Roy Cohn, the mentor to Donald Trump, was also the mentor to Roger Stone. Roger Stone and Roy Cohn had a big falling out. And in the early parts of his career, Roger Stone was then exiled to Albany, New York. He couldn't be in Manhattan anymore because Roy Cohn and Donald Trump wanted nothing to do with him. So Roger Stone spent most of his life up there in Albany, fucking with the new... I know all about Roger Stone. Don't tell me that he isn't crazy. All right, here we go. Roger Stone is another one of these guys with outsized influence over Trump, especially now. There was a time when they were running hot, where they had legitimate people that I, think are duplicitous and all that stuff, but they had legitimate people. Who did they have involved with the campaign at that point? You had Kellyanne Conway. Remember, they brought her back. She is a real pro. She knows what she's doing. And now, now it's all Laura Loomer. And anyway, it's desperation mode for them. Doesn't mean they're not going to win. That does not mean that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they ain't going to win. I'm just saying they're a little bit desperate now. So this thing seems very convenient for them. It seems very convenient for the Trump campaign to have this happen yesterday. It seems very convenient for the Secret Service to have been able to snuff it out the way they did. And it also seems very convenient for local law enforcement to have been able to catch this guy very quickly without having to shut down any freeways and without having to, inconvenience all the people of the area when, you get in one of these slow speed chases. See, we've been thinking about this. This guy pulled right over. There was no problem. Didn't draw any attention to it. It was just, this is the police doing our job. This is what we do. It's this easy. No, it's not. This whole thing seems a little bit sketch to me. I don't believe it. I don't fully, but I'm also, I have an open mind. I'm going to wait and see if any details come out. But I'm telling you, the more details that come out about this, I think they're going to be bad details. I think they're going to be details where people are like, wait, what? What is this now? He did hate Trump, though. Apparently he did hate Trump, at least as far as we know. Here's what the Sun says. He's my dad and all. He's had a couple of traffic tickets, as far as I know, the Sun said. It's crazy what they're saying he did. I know my dad, and I love my dad, but this is nothing like him. The former president was rushed to safety. We don't care. We don't know. Look at him. Here's another picture of him. He's a weird guy. Here he is in Washington. He's cosplaying being somebody who's involved in all of this when he's not. I'm going to Washington to advocate for Ukrainian relief. Dude, who are you? You're a roofer from North Carolina. Just a regular insect. I'll tell you what's going on here. Maybe he expected to die. But here's another thing. He obviously has delusions of grandeur. This dude is a roofer from North Carolina. And I hate to say it, because I'm speaking of you, me, him, all of us. I'm speaking of all of us individually. He's an anonymous grain of sand in the Sahara Desert. That's all he is. Roofer from North Carolina. You are so forgettable. You are so not important. And when I say this about him, I'm saying this about you. I'm saying this about me. That's all we are. Individually speaking, we are absolutely nothing. So sometimes that's a little bit too much for the average person to comprehend. And they create these delusions where they have a grander purpose. And so that's what this guy seems like he was. Well, I'm going to get involved and single-handedly fix the Ukrainian thing by starting this website where I will internationally recruit other people who wish to go and fight for Ukrainian independence against the evil Putin. That's who I am. I'm doing important stuff. And here's a picture of him. I went to Washington, D.C. I put on a tie and everything. See, this is not what normal people do. This is things that people who want to be taken seriously, who want to be more important than they actually are. These are these kinds of things. Very important. Look at me. And that's what he wanted. Just an anonymous, totally forgettable grain of sand. You know who's not totally forgettable? People who kill presidents. Maybe that's what he was working, right? Maybe he was going, I'm going to become famous by killing a president. Do we have any other pictures? Let's see. Here we go. This one's a good one. Is this the Biden-Harris? Yeah, you see this one? Okay, so this is his house in Hawaii. This is his roofing truck. He's got a Biden-Harris sticker. I point this out, a Biden-Harris sticker. I'd also like to caution you, this doesn't mean at all that he's a supporter of Kamala Harris or that he did. What this means is that 4 years ago, he voted and supported that ticket. We don't know. Look, he didn't, we don't have an update. We don't know for certain. It's not Biden-Walz. He's registered as an independent. However, it should be noted that he has given like $200 or something over the last couple of years to Act Blue, which is an organization that funnels money to Democratic candidates in places where they need money. So he has donated. But again, this is where we always chase these. What kind of a fucking idiot cares how this guy votes? Why are we wasting our time thinking about and considering who this guy supports? Why would we do that? Isn't our first impression of this guy that he's a fucking crazy person and shouldn't be taken serious on everything? So why do we then go, yeah, but who did he support? It doesn't fucking matter, brilliant. He's fucking crazy. He's a crazy person. But you get that. He's a liberal. I don't know what he is. He's weird. He's a weirdo. But he definitely cannot be denied. If anybody tries to tell you that didn't happen, you can see it right there. This dude had a Biden-Harris sticker on the back of his truck. Now, again, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything other than 4 years ago, he supported that ticket. Trying to see some of these tickets, some of these other pictures here. All right. Yeah. Can we be done? Can we be done with the Trump story? It's interesting because Barney says, my theory is as likely as my theory that the first assassin was being set up by ATF for explosive charges, and they didn't know he had his dad's gun. See, here's the thing, Barney. Typically speaking, I would not engage in conspiracy theories, but this seems to be like one that's happening right now. And I don't know, maybe we get in on the ground floor. Maybe we help shape whatever this conspiracy theory is. That could be fun. You raise some good points, Barney. Sports Bros Chris says, I'm 100% with you on this, Pugs. And from someone not on either side, even see this as a planned stunt to get people back on your side. It just all seems very inconvenient for a group of people. It seems very convenient, I should say. Makes the Secret Service look like ballers. Makes the local police who are alerted by the Secret Service, it looks like the local police are ballers. But also, would you look at the feds and the local municipal police getting along, sharing information, stopping an assassin, all the shit they failed to do the last time in Butler. Oh, did they? Woo! So that's a little suspicious to me. And I'm not a cynical dude. I'm really not. I think these times have made me more cynical. Rob says, if he lives in Hawaii, why does he have roof tiles? I don't know. What the fuck, Rob? Do they not have roof tiles in Hawaii? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Seems like do they not have roof tiles in Hawaii? I don't know. He is a roofer. And yes, he lives in Hawaii. Although he used to own a roofing company in North Carolina, which is where he's from. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. Sorry. What is that? I just went down here. Frank says Kamala will win. Don't worry, it's in the bag. I don't know if Kamala winning is going to ease my fears at all. I don't know. He said, don't worry. I don't know. I don't know. I want this era to be over with. You people do you? I'm going to talk to you individually. All right. If you're listening right now, I'm talking to you. I'm asking you a direct question. Have you ever just like within the last few years, just kind of sat down for a minute and thought to yourself, holy fuck, these times that we are living in, these are historic times. These times are going to be talked about. These times, and we don't even know how it's going to play out yet. We haven't seen the conclusion. Is America going to fall apart? Are we going to be torn apart? Is this going to be another civil war? In 100 years, is America going to be like balkanized? We're living it, man. Appreciate that. That's another reason I'm not voting. I don't know what to do. I can't tell what the fuck's happening in this world. That's why I don't know. I don't want to be party to anything. I might be hoodwinked. Mess around and vote for. I don't need that. Vote for the wrong person. Vote for the next Hitler. I don't want to do that. So I want my soul clear. So I will not be voting. I'm going to leave it to the rest of these jackasses. But seriously, consider where you are right now as a fully fledged human adult living through this time. Because I promise you, 250 years from now, there will be people going, can you imagine how difficult it was back then? Just we are living in historic times. And I just think that we should probably at some point be appreciating that. All right, the next big story we're going to talk about here, Trump and Laura Loomer. They're apparently, everybody's like, they're doing it. I don't know if they're doing it. But I do know that she has been granted access to the inner circle of President Trump, the private circle as well. She's been in meetings with him alone, reported. Here's why. People are upset. The people who used to be in the private meetings with Trump alone are no longer in the private meetings with Trump alone, but Laura Loomer is, and they're tweeting about it or they're leaking it to their whatever. It's not good. He's hanging out with her. Drudge is like trolling Trump. Drudge is like got headlines. It's love. They're in a relationship. Okay. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Here's what I do know. Let me tell you what I know about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a horny motherfucker. He has always been a horny motherfucker. There is that type of man who must conquer and constantly be spreading his seed all over the place. That's who Donald Trump has always been. Always been. The dude bought beauty pageants so that he could have an endless well of young hot chicks to be able to just, hit on and possibly bang out. That's who Trump has always been. We know this. He's old, horny. I do not believe he has had sex with Melania in... How old is Barron? What's it been? 26? It's been a long time. They haven't had sex in a decade. Honestly, that's what I think. I think that Melania has stayed with him because I think there's an understanding. I think that there is an understanding between these two. There is no love. There is no warmth. With all due respect, you look at, seriously, I got to include some people. I'm trying to think of who's like a conservative, a really loving example of a good conservative couple. And I'm sorry, I'm falling short. But when you talk about like Barack and Michelle Obama, objectively, when you look at those people, they love each other. Ron and Nancy Reagan, there you go. That's a beautiful example. A beautiful example. Ron and Nancy Reagan. Those two looked at each other. You had no doubt that Nancy completely loved him and that he completely relied on her. Not so much with Bill and Hillary. I absolutely believe that George and Laura Bush love each other. I believe that that's real. And Barack and Michelle Obama. I mean, they're the Ron and Nancy Reagan of the polar opposite, I guess. You never see that with Trump and Melania. She doesn't hug him. She doesn't show him any emotional support or warmth. They don't hold hands. She's just a hot fucking chick that he wants in photos standing next to him. And I think that's basically what their relationship is here now. So, pointing out he's a horny fucking always has been, and Melania ain't banging him, hasn't been with him in years. He's not getting it there. Probably getting it from other places. I mean, he's probably on the down low. He's probably getting it from... But here's my theory, and I said this theory before. I don't think old dudes like Trump know what a hot younger chick is anymore. I think they lose. I think once you get to be like 80 years old, if you see a 25-year-old who's not fat, like that's it. Like if she's 25 and not fat, Trump is like, pretty good, huh? Like that old guys do this. It's why you see a lot of old guys out on dates with young skanks, like really skanky looking chicks. They don't know. They don't know what's good and what's not. And I think that's what's going on with Trump. And I really think that he's looking at Laura Loomer and he's like, she's 28 or whatever she is, 30, whatever she is. She's 50 years younger than him. That's the turn on. The turn on for him is that I can still get beautiful, young, vibrant women. And then, the girl is like a crack face. She's like, Rah. But that's an old guy thing. That's not a Trump thing. But I do think that he doesn't know that Laura Loomer is gross. I think he doesn't know. I think he's like, look at my hot young girl. I think that's, if they're an item, this is my fantasy. And they may not be although I think that she's totally blowing him. That's totally a thing. She would do anything for him. She's so weird. Although here's the problem with her. She also is crazy as fucking nuts and desperately wants to be famous. So if she did do that stuff, that she'd be recording it in some way. And then she'll put out a book or she'll do an interview or she'll release that. She'll go all bunny boiler. She'll go all Glenn Close on him. The minute he starts pushing her away, I will not be ignored, Donald. And then before you know it, there'll be a Twitter recording of her blowing him, and then we'll be like, uh-oh. See, we got to look out for that. Got to look out for that. You know why? When he doesn't have to look out for that? When he can just take all the blowjobs and be as risky as he wants with, these last 100 days of the campaign? He can be as risky and he can do all that as long as he thinks he isn't going to win. If he thinks it's over and he's not going to win, these next 100 days, he's just going to have fun. He's just going to be like, all right, taking some risk. I don't know. As much as I dislike him, come on, have you seen the women he's been with? Come on, that's one of the great things about him. The dude knows a 10 when he sees it. Melania is, and I love this when you see liberals going, she's not even that hot. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up. She is. Jackie O and Michelle are so much more beautiful than Melania. Oh, one, you're probably gay. Something a gay guy would say. Things a gay guy would say for 100, Alex. What is... Michelle Obama is prettier than Melania. Oh, that is things a gay guy might say. That is just not in any heterosexual equation. There is no way that Michelle Obama is as hot as international model Melania Trump. It's not a fair contest. I love Michelle. She seems like a lovely woman. But she ain't nearly as hot as Jackie O. Jackie O is weird looking. Jackie O, here's the problem. They always say that Jackie O is the most beautiful, Jackie Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's wife. They always say that she was like the most beautiful first lady. I've never they have we're going to do the Jackie O movie. And they made Jacqueline Smith, Kelly Garrett from Charlie's Angels. Jacqueline Smith played her. Jacqueline Smith is gorgeous. And they had her play. They had, who was it? Natalie Portman. They had Natalie Portman just play her. Natalie Portman is gorgeous. What is this bullshit we're being? Have you ever really looked at Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy? She ain't hot, man. She's very strange looking. Her eyes are too far apart and they're tiny and beady, and her face is shaped weird. She ain't hot. And we've been fed that bullshit for a year. Now, maybe compared to Lady Bird Johnson, she was hot. Maybe compared to Pat Nixon, she's hot. But the bar was really low for bangable first ladies back in 1960. And I think the whole world went a little bit nuts on Jackie O. So let's just stop with that. And let's admit that Melania is the hottest. And I think that Trump, he can't tell the difference. He's also been spoiled. I think that he's had so many hot chicks that maybe you don't have to be hot to get him excited anymore, because when you've had all the hot chicks, it's my John Lennon theory. John Lennon fell in love with Yoko Ono because John Lennon could have any woman in the world that he wanted. And at some point, John Lennon decided that looks or being, a hot bombshell was not the most important thing to turn him on. And that's how he ended up with Yoko Ono. And that's why people are like, what was he doing with her? He loved her. He loved her. He had endless opportunities for anybody that he wanted. All right, what are we doing? Trump and Loomer, are they a thing? God, I hope so. God, I hope so. Let's move on. Prince Harry. Prince Harry had a birthday over the weekend. I think he's like 40 or something like that. Here's why this is important. Prince Harry, who has, not, what's the term? It's not excommunicated or whatever, but he's stepped away from his official duties as a prince in the United Kingdom and all that stuff. And it's been icy. It's been real icy between him and his dad, the king. His dad's king. Charles is king now. Still weird to say that. It's been 2 years. Things have been icy between he and his brother, the heir apparent, William. He's always on the outs, and the local tabloids there in London are always trying to cause shit between them. And it was his 40th birthday, and apparently the whole family sent him public greetings and that. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal that Buckingham Palace officially put out a big thing yesterday. We would like to wish a happy birthday to Harry, Prince of blah blah blah, or whatever it was. And it was nice. And then Harry said, "Point is this." If you care, they seem to be experiencing not just a period of détente between Harry and the royal family, but it's family. They seem like it's family. You know what I mean? Harry and William, who are close brothers, they're not going to be, not going to be ignoring each other forever. They'll come back, and it looks like that has started. All right. Who cares? Who cares? Talk a little bit about this story. I love this story. This was a fun story. I just recently saw these guys. And by recently, I mean within the last 2 years. Did y'all check out the viral video that went around over the weekend of Jane's Addiction in Boston? Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro of Jane's Addiction. It's 60-something-year-old men. Rock and roll. They got into a big fight on stage. Here, let me tell you the story here. I'll show you should I show you the video? No, I'm going to tell you the story first, and then I'll show you the video. I'm sure you've already seen the video, so I need to stop acting like I'm giving you something you can't get anywhere else. Here we go. Rock band Jane's Addiction have released a statement after their show in Boston ended abruptly halfway through due to a fight between frontman Perry Farrell and guitarist Dave Navarro. I have never before experienced Perry Farrell. I don't know Perry Farrell. Here's what I do know. I know that Perry Farrell is supposed to be very difficult, very artsy. When you are in Perry Farrell's orbit, you are victimized by his whims. Whatever he wants, you must he's a difficult guy. Perry Farrell is kind of trouble, a bit of a troublemaker, a junkie. I mean, we know this. He was a junkie back in the day and had all kinds of problems. Been out of the spotlight, Perry Farrell has, for a good 25 years. And We like to think that he matured and became a little bit of a different character, but now we see these stories and see this video of what's going on in the current incarnation of Jane's Addiction, and we think, oh, all right, that's Perry. Perry Farrell's back. Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell, of course, they never had a great relationship, although they are two of the most important elements that go into anything calling itself a Jane's Addiction reunion. You need to have those two. But they never liked each other. Or maybe they did, but they never got along. Jane's Addiction, cursed band. Never met Perry Farrell. I do have a famous run-in with Dave Navarro from the old Pugs and Kelly show where we got into a big fight with him because he's a jackass. So my feeling on Dave Navarro is that he's a dick. He's just a dick, a jackass, a self-centered piece of garbage. So that's what I think going in. So I know that firsthand from Dave Navarro, but I've only heard it from Perry Farrell. So the fact that these two knuckleheads are getting into a fight in front of a Boston crowd on Friday night, all right, so we need to know what's going on. We know they're both capable of over dramatizing a situation into making it much worse because they're both narcissists who want everybody to look at them and see them as a victim. So let's hear what happened. As the leader, let's see here. At the Leader Bank Pavilion on Friday, Perry Farrell reportedly shouted at Dave Navarro, guitar player, during the 9th track of the set during the song Mountain Song. Tensions were building furthermore as the gig continued. So they were playing a song, Mountain Song, and Perry Farrell was apparently yelling at Dave Navarro. And then they went on and they did. So there was tension being seen on stage long before the meltdown. Then as the band were performing their 1988 song Ocean Size, video footage showed Perry Farrell appearing to bark at Dave Navarro before walking over to him and aggressively shoving him with his shoulder. As Navarro spoke to him and put his hand on Perry's chest to try and keep him away, the singer then appeared to take a swing at him. The singer then appeared to take a swing at him with his fist. Fucking bad. You don't need with his fist. You fucking idiot writer. Who wrote this? Jesus Christ. It's hard to read these things. He took a swing at him with his fist. This is a quick read on an app. You don't need with his fist. He took a swing at him. That's all you need. The singer then appeared to take a swing at him with his fists before being tackled by crew members and pushed off the stage. The gig was canceled not long after. A statement shared to the band's Instagram said, "We want to extend our heartfelt apology to our fans for the events that unfolded last night. As a result, we will be canceling tomorrow night show in Bridgeport. Refunds will be issued at your point of purchase." Okay, here's what they didn't say, and rightfully so, and they should not say this. They said, hey, we're Jane's Addiction. We just want to apologize for what happened last night. And you know what? We ain't doing a show tomorrow night. So if you bought tickets for the show tomorrow night in Bridgeport, you can get your money back. And we're sorry about what you saw last night. Here's what they didn't say. Hey, if you were at the show last night, we're very sorry. You want your money back? No, they ain't giving those people the money back. You know why? This is the Siegfried and Roy rule. If the show gets canceled because of something that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to see, you do not get your money back. In fact, we should charge you more to get out. It should be, if you want to exit, you're going to get $10. What you saw here, you did not pay enough. The people who went and saw Siegfried and Roy the night the tiger ate Roy, some of them wanted their money back. No, I think they should have barricaded the doors after the Tigers were secured, and they should have told the people what you just saw was something you'll be dining out on forever. 20 years from now, you'll be like, I was at the Siegfried and Roy show where the tiger. You people now need to pay us more. And that's exactly what the Jane's Addiction people should have said to them in Boston. Hey, Dave and Perry getting into a fist fight here on stage. That's better than what you paid for. So we're going to let you out, but just so you know, if you want to drop a little something. Let's see, what does it say here? As a result, and they're canceling shows, but yeah, they ain't giving anybody their money back. No, you saw something historic in the history of Jane's Addiction. The night that the reunion imploded. And by the way, this is the kind of thing. This is what I've been telling you about Oasis. If you bought tickets for the Dublin show to see Oasis, that's the final show of their reunion tour, I think you're going to be disappointed because I'm not entirely sure that Oasis is going to make it to that show. Why? Because shit like what we just saw happen with Jane's Addiction is probably going to happen again with Oasis. Let's see here. Here's a report now. This is Perry Farrell's wife. This is what she has to say about what occurred. And then we're going to watch the video, okay? Perry Farrell's wife, Etta Lou Farrell, says or claimed that the altercation between Perry and Navarro occurred after mounting tension during the tour over issues with sound. She says about her husband, Perry's frustration had been mounting night after night. He felt that the stage volume had been extremely loud and his voice was being drowned out by the band. The wife, again, claimed that Farrell had lost it after the audience in the first row began complaining to him that the band was too loud and that they couldn't hear him sing, at which point he turned on Navarro. Perry Farrell's wife claimed that after Perry took a swing at Navarro, bassist Eric Avery, another great rock and roll guy, bassist Eric Avery put Perry Farrell in a headlock and punched him in the stomach 3 times. Now, this is according to Perry Farrell's wife. Perry Farrell's wife is like, and then Eric Avery, he came and he put Perry in a headlock and he punched him 3 times in the stomach. She claimed Eric, this is her talking about what Eric did. Eric, well, he either didn't understand what de-escalation means or he just took advantage of the situation and got in a few cheap shots on Perry, Farrell wrote. So the wife is openly out here going, yeah, and then Eric Avery got involved and he took 2 cheap shots at my husband. So it sounds like the band is like, Perry Farrell's an asshole and he went too far on stage and we beat the fuck out of him on stage, which I like. Perry was a crazed beast for the next half hour. He finally did not calm down, but did break down and cried out. A review of the band's earlier show in Tampa, Florida, hinted at brewing tensions between Farrell and Navarro. Farrell launched into many nonsensical rants about cow pastures, mushrooms, surfing, living in Florida, and arguing with his brother about politics while chugging from a full bottle of wine throughout the performance. At one point, during one of Perry Farrell's ramblings, Navarro deliberately cranked out a loud, piercing chord on his guitar as almost to silence Farrell and to get the show back on track. Perry has also experienced frustration over apparent vocal issues in recent shows in New York and in Buffalo. Okay, so here's what's going on. Let's tell you what's going on and we'll watch it. Perry Farrell, his voice is gone. Perry Farrell can't sing anymore. This tour has destroyed his voice. He can't sing. And because he can't sing, he's complaining about the music being too loud and the people say they can't hear me. It's not that his voice is gone and that he can no longer do the vocalizations that he needs to do. It's not that. It's that the mix is wrong. And it somehow has to do with Dave Navarro. And it somehow has to do... Perry Farrell's a bitch. And he's blaming his own limitations on other things. And I guess the band was just done with it. They're like, no, dude, you just can't sing anymore. Your voice is shot. So here we go. Let's watch this, how it played out. Now we've got the full context of what apparently is being reported. So this was Friday night, right? Yeah, Friday. Here it is, the full one. This is Friday night in Boston. Jane's Addiction, who, by the way, about a year and a half ago on this tour, when they opened for the Smashing Pumpkins, they were awesome. If you remember the story, my son, who was 14 at the time, he ended up buying a Jane's Addiction t-shirt because he thought Jane's Addiction was better than the Smashing Pumpkins. He's like, man, that Jane's Addiction, they were really good. So that was a year and a half ago. And now I think maybe they're done again. Here it is. This is from Friday night in Boston. Perry Farrell, singer, going after Dave Navarro, guitar player. Both, by the way, I'm pretty sure are assholes. jumped him. They came from behind Perry and jumped him. Here, we'll see this again. He's a little bitch. Remember, he can't sing anymore. His voice is trashed after a year and a half on this tour. His voice is trashed. And he's looking, because he's a narcissist rock star, he's looking to blame other things. And in this case, it's because Dave Navarro's guitar is too loud that no one can hear his voice. Imagine being Perry Farrell and thinking you can fight. You know how absurd that is to like people who aren't afraid to just crack them in the face. I mean, the only reason that Perry Farrell, I imagine, feels like emboldened to fight is because he's a rock star. It's because he's got, things. Perry Farrell as a non-rock star, as a dude that works at the video store, you don't worry about fighting him ever. You're like, oh my God, look at this little weird femboy. Come on, you want to talk to me? Let's step outside. Perry Farrell ain't doing that. But as like a rock star, he's trying to throw down with Dave Navarro on stage. Let's keep watching this because this is too good. I mean, do you see what's happening? There's like 5 people trying to get Perry Farrell off stage, and Dave Navarro is just like walking around with his big stupid hat. He's like, yep, this is what I deal with. This is what being on tour with James has been like for the last... Let's start it again from the beginning. Yeah, I mean, it looks to me here, I mean, you've got the band members hugging each other, all of them except Perry. This is like, they're trauma bonding right here with the audience. This is their way of kind of telling the audience, you have no idea what it's been like on tour with this guy. And this is just the end result of 18 months of Perry Farrell being the most irritating motherfucker in rock and roll. So like, while this is going on, what do you think's happening with Perry Farrell? Like, he's off in the wings. They are dragging him down some hallway. He's trying to get away and get back up. And, I mean, there's some real chaos, some real mayhem going on just off stage while the band members are like, all right, it's going to be it. We're okay. Good night. I mean, it's like Perry Farrell, is just having a complete breakdown. Anyway, there you have it. That's the story with Jane's Addiction. I know my Jane's Addiction. They'll be fine. That's something like this probably doesn't even end. By the way, they shouldn't allow it to end the tour because now people are actually talking about this dumb tour, which, I didn't even know they were on tour. I saw them a year and a half ago and I went to see the Smashing Pumpkins. I knew the Pumpkins were on tour. And then I learned that like, oh my God, Jane's Addiction is opening, which is cool because I always liked Jane's Addiction. So I was like, cool, I get to bring my 15-year-old. My kid liked Jane's Addiction better than the Pumpkins. In fact, we both did. Like, man, Jane's was a way cooler band. Perry Farrell's voice, Rob says here in the chat room, he's Says Perry Farrell never had a good voice. No, he didn't. That's why this is so interesting. Like the idea that Perry Farrell is frustrated because he's, man, my voice is my instrument. No, dude, you were like the anti-vocalist. That was your whole appeal. That was sort of the whole thing that you were doing. You didn't sing in tune. You were, as they'd say on American Idol, you were quite pitchy all the time and purposefully. You had a very unique style and delivery. That was your whole thing. You did not sound like Steve Perry from Journey, okay? You did not sound like Robert Plant. You had a punk rock, anything can be rock and roll, anything can be art kind of delivery. That's your whole thing. You're not a singer, Perry Farrell. If anyone ever told you that you're a singer, they were lying to you. You're a curiosity in the world of rock and roll singers who it was more about everything else that you and the band represented and stood for. And when that all came together, it worked. It worked uniquely for Jane's Addiction. But do not for any minute think that anyone has ever requested Perry Farrell sing the national anthem before a ball game because you're not a fucking singer. You're just not. I've been caught stealing once when I was born. He's not a singer, is my point. He's a punk rocker. He's he's interesting. I think he's a great artist. I really do. I think that he's a great artist, but not a singer. Sorry, terrible singer. So for him to be completely beside himself with this idea that he's now limited, he can't even be a bad singer to his level of expectation. Is that it? He's like, I'm just so mad. I can't even be a bad singer at the level that maybe he's just hoarse. Who knows? Anyway, they ought to get back together. They should just let this story go. They should cancel a couple of shows, and then they should do whatever the next show is. And trust me, they will sell more tickets to coming dates because people now want to see if Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell are going to get into another fight. They could end up headlining now. Maybe their music will get played on the radio because people are talking about them. This is all good if these narcissists can just, pull it together and go, this was the best publicity this tour has gotten in 2 years. We should probably ride into it. There you go. That's all we need to know. That's the situation with Jane's Addiction. What else do we have here? Here, this is sad. Tito Jackson died. Tito. What is he the oldest brother? I don't know. Let's say he is. He was 70 years old. He's one of the Jacksons. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Jackson 5, Tito Jackson. 70 years old, Michael's brother, Tito Jackson, the Jackson 5. Janet's brother, Tito Jackson, the Jackson 5. Tito. We knew Jermaine. Where is Tito? Where does Tito come in on a Jackson family draft? Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Let's do that. All right, here we go on this. The death of Tito Jackson, the day that actually yesterday was the day that he died. That's enough time. How much time does Tito need? He died yesterday. We can do this now. All right, Jackson family draft. Here we go. First pick off the board is Michael. Of course it is. Although maybe not. Of course it is. Do I want to rethink that? No, Michael. We're going Michael. Because he's a controversial first overall pick, Michael Jackson. Because he's got the child molesting stuff. We don't know if it's true or not. You may not want to take him overall, especially when there's a sure thing in Janet. Janet could have been number one. You could go with Janet. Because of Michael and the weird death and the Elephant Man bones and all the baggage that comes with Michael, we're going to go with Janet as the number one pick. And you could survive that. You wouldn't be crazy for thinking that way. But I'm going with Michael. Michael is my number one pick in the Jackson family draft on the day that Tito Jackson has died. Number two, of course, it's Janet Jackson. Number three, this is the fun, right? Now we're into the fun because we got rid of Michael and Janet. And there are a whole bunch of other Jacksons, Tito included, who were famous in their own right. Who is number three? If Michael is number one in the Jackson family and Janet is number two, who is number three? Is it Jermaine? Is it Jermaine? Is it LaToya? Is it I guess that's really, is it Tito? Does Tito come in? Tito was the last of the Jacksons to put out a solo album. Interesting. So he never really tried. My point is this: he never really tried for solo fame. And by the way, when he put out that like solo album like 5 years ago, like all the other Jacksons were like pumping albums out in the 70s and in the 80s. Not Tito. Tito just kind of saw himself as the leader of the Jackson 5. That was his band. And if all of his brothers and sisters wanted to go off and do other things, but Tito was the leader of the Jackson 5. That's how he saw himself. All right, so with the third pick in the Jackson family draft, I don't want to go LaToya because she was crazy, but is LaToya more famous than Jermaine? And I think she is. I think we go LaToya, number 3. And then I think we go Jermaine at number 4, and then we go Tito at number 5. And there you go. That's your top 5 Jackson family draft. That's it. Michael at 1, Janet at 2, LaToya at 3, Jermaine at 4, Tito at 5. That's your Jackson top 5 draft. That's pretty good. We're sorry, but we couldn't locate your tickets. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Hold on. Oh, I just got sent a text from. I bought tickets online for my son's high school football game last week, and I just got a text from them saying that. I don't know. Anyway, weird. Never mind. Just weird. We don't have the bugs all worked out with these apps and stuff and, the instantaneous information and all that. The bugs are not worked out. Sometimes like a week later, you'll get something that I'm like, well, I don't need this anymore. Why are you just sending it to me now? What else do we have here? So there you go. Tito Jackson is dead at the age of 70. He died. He had a heart attack while driving. He's out there on tour. He's out there grinding it out. He's playing dates. He was driving between Las Vegas and Oklahoma, and he had a heart attack. Now, I don't know if he died behind the wheel or whatever, but that's how it was described. A heart attack while driving. Tito Jackson. You want to talk about the Emmys? Did anybody watch the Emmys last night? I didn't watch the Emmys last night, but let's go through this. Let's see what shows won. I didn't watch the Emmys last night because my Bears were playing on Monday Night Football and our offensive line sucks and I don't want to talk about it. Come on, show me the Emmy winners. So what won? Let's see. Let's go through this list. Come on. The 2024 Primetime Emmy Awards were handed out Sunday night, with Hacks taking home a surprise Best Comedy Series win. Hacks. That's not a surprise. It's not a surprise to me. I've been telling you how good Hacks is with the incredible Jean Smart, American treasure Jean Smart. She's so good in that. Hannah Einbinder as her younger comedy writer girl. Daughter of Lorraine Newman, original Saturday Night Live cast member. No, Hacks is good. Doesn't surprise me that Hacks won. It was a good show. I guess everybody's shocked because, was this a running theme? I saw something about this, and I remember when these awards came out, The Bear is like, it's not a comedy show, but they don't, because here's the thing. This is how stupid people in Hollywood are. The Bear is not a comedy, but it's about a half hour. So if it's a half hour, Hollywood thinks it must be a comedy because dramas are 1 hour. In situation comedies, those are a half hour. So this is The Bear? It's a half hour? Oh, it's comedy. And they're like, no, not really. Now there are funny characters in The Bear who are interesting and do funny things from time to time, and there's wonderfully humorous dialogue and witty, pithy dialogue in The Bear, but it's not a comedy, and it was in the comedy category. I don't get that, It reminds me of the Grammys from years and years ago when they introduced the heavy metal. It's the first time that heavy metal was going to be awarded a Grammy, that they were actually going to recognize the genre of heavy metal. This is like 1992, 1993, just like one of the great eras of heavy metal. And the first winner of the heavy metal Grammy went to Jethro Tull. And like, it's like Metallica, Master of Puppets, Pantera, all of these like real legitimate metal bands. And then Jethro Tull, a band with a flute, a band with a lead flute player, won the very first heavy metal Grammy at the Grammys. But that's kind of what this is like with the Bear. Hollywood people are stupid and they're like, it's a half hour, it's comedy, right? So they're just dumb and short sighted, and they like the easy button. So the Bear goes into the comedy category, and good. I'm glad that Hacks won, because Hacks is a comedy. It is literally about a legendary stand-up comedian and the process of writing jokes. It is literally about comedy. It's meta comedy. It is a comedy. So Hacks won, and that's very good. And if you're not watching Hacks, go ahead. It says, in addition, the show's star, Jean Smart, won Best Actress in a Comedy Series. Well, good. She deserves it. She's a treasure. Let's see. Hacks was a surprise winner over The Bear. No, it's not a comedy. Hacks was a surprise winner over The Bear, which won Best Comedy Series last year. However, the latter did collect 4 other big wins. So The Bear won for acting. There was some acting nods. Jeremy Allen White won for Best Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. That's some fucking bullshit. Jeremy Allen White is an incredibly gifted actor. Super good. And he probably deserves an award, but he doesn't deserve to be taking an award from somebody else, an actor who had an incredible role in an actual comedy series, who probably should be rewarded and recognized for that. No, because you got Jeremy Allen White, who is, what is funny about Carmy? There is no, Carmy is one of the most tortured, fragile, broken, traumatized characters in the his, and he won for portraying that. Jeremy Allen White won a comedy trophy but that's so insulting. He should be insulted. He's like, you mean you saw my portrayal of Carmy and you said that's worthy of a comedy award? He should be insulted. Jeremy Allen White won for Carmy. Liza Colon Zayas, she won Best Supporting Actress in a comedy. Shouldn't have won. I saw the Cousin Richie one. Cousin Richie should win. Liza Colon Zayas. I don't understand why people are like, oh, she's fantastic. We're giving out awards for everybody, and we got to include the woman who is a very small part of the show, but she's a woman of color, so we got to make sure that we get her all kinds of awards too. How about Sydney? Let's give Sydney some awards. I don't think that the old Puerto Rican woman in The Bear is deserving of awards. I just don't think that character is as compelling as other people are seeming to make it seem. There are incredibly compelling characters in that show. The baker, the big fat kid who lost his mom, that dude, spend more time with him. Less with, whoever this Eliza, but they're making her a big star. I don't get her. Like, I don't get her. It's like, oh, she's terrific. Is she? She seems mean. She's unlikable. She has very small role. She's not a big, they have made her more of a big player in The Bear, but I don't need that character. And I don't know why they're giving her awards in the comedy category. Cousin Richie, though, I got to be honest. Cousin Richie is one of the great characters in television. I give him whatever award he wants, because Cousin Richie is funny as fuck, even though maybe it's not intended to be, but Cousin Richie is very funny. Let's see here. The Bear has set a new record at the Emmys for most wins in a single season. It won 11. The Bear set a new record for most wins in a single season for a comedy with 11. How disgusting is that? It's not a comedy. It won 11 comedy trophies. I love The Bear. It's not a comedy. I love The Bear. And in 11 separate instances, there were really deserving actual comics and comic actors and comedy shows that were deprived, that will never have an award that could have changed their career in, whatever way. But no, because they had to give the comedy award to the sad Puerto Rican lady who works on, I don't fucking get this at all. It's dumb. It's a good show. It's a great show, but put it in the drop. I don't know what to make. Whatever. You make the categories. It ain't comedy is my point. But it's a half hour, so it has to be a comedy. That has nothing to do with it, you fucking small-minded rube. You Hollywood-programmed rube. It's a half-hour drama. But that's not a thing. There's no such thing as a half hour. Yes, there is. And there has been for a while, you dicks. Oh, I'm mad. Look at me being mad at everybody. Dicks. All right, I'm done. I don't care. Do we have the list? All right, let's see. We'll go through the list maybe, and then I'll just riff on shit. Do I have a full? Just give me a list. Don't give me story. Writers think they're important. Just give me a list. All right, here we go. Best drama series, Shogun. No, thank you. I have no interest in seeing this. Why is everybody like Shogun is so good? My son, he's 15. Dad, you want to watch Shogun? I'm like, that looks dumb. He's like, no, it's about medieval Japan, and it's Japanese shoguns, and it's, and I'm like, that sounds awful. Why is this? And apparently that won a bunch of shit. Shogun. So my son watched it, and I refused. It's too foreign for me. I don't know how to relate to a bunch of Japanese guys going. I don't want to see it. I don't care. Make that, call it Cowboy, and just make it about, then I'm more likely to see it. Why? Because I'm a Western middle-aged man. I don't want to, my son is so obsessed with Japanese culture, though. He really is. Very obsessed. He's going, I can't wait. He's going to Japan. He's like, I'm going to Japan. First opportunity I get. I go, okay, why? What's with your obsession with Japan? I don't know. He just likes Japan. All right. Shogun won for, I guess, best drama series. It beat Slow Horses, which is unfortunate. Apple TV, Slow Horses, which I think is the best drama series on TV. But whatever. Okay, there it goes. That's a crime. Shogun beat out Slow Horses. Best actress in a drama series went to Anna Sawai for Shogun. I don't care. I'm never going to see it. I would have given the award to... I don't care. I don't see anybody in there that I would have given it to. Best actor in a drama series went to Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun. No. I, of course, would have given best actor in a drama to the great Gary Oldman for Slow Horses on Apple, which is such a cool spy, covert, cool-ass anti-terrorism, cool show. I love that show. Slow Horses. What do we have? Best supporting actress in a drama series. Okay, I get with this. Elizabeth Debicki as Lady Di or Princess Di from The Crown. I don't know how to describe it. She was just enchanting. She's just enchanting in that role. Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana is just enchanting in that role. I know why they cast her. They cast her because, they said that Diana herself was just this enchanting good energy where it was almost like an angel walked into a room. And I'm telling you that Elizabeth Debicki, she had that. She had that in her portrayal of Princess Diana, and it was incredible. So I'm glad to see her winning awards for it. Best supporting actor in a drama series, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, which is also an Apple TV thing. Yeah, he's good. I mean, I don't think that's that great of a show. It's a good show. It's an interesting show. And if you like, behind the scenes of like television and all that, you'll enjoy it. It's not an incredibly deep or really important show. It's not super cool like Slow Horses. It's The Morning Show. It's Jen Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Billy Crudup. Billy Crudup's good. He's not great, but whatever. All right, he won. He won for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series, Billy Crudup, The Morning Show. All right, best comedy series. Here we go. Oh, what were the other choices here? Abbott Elementary. With all due respect, I have zero respect for network produced comedy series. I'm sorry. Abbott, apparently people think it's funny. I don't know how that could be. It's an ABC family. No, nope. No, seriously though, it's funny. No, refuse to believe it. So no vote for me for Abbott Elementary. Hacks won, by the way, best comedy series. The Bear, not a comedy. Let's get rid of that. Curb Your Enthusiasm, the final season. It was very funny final season, but it's got enough. That thing won enough stuff. 20 years Curb Your Enthusiasm's been on. It won way more than it needs. Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. Hate that. Such a stupid, dumb, uninspired, just Martin Short and Steve Martin just coasting on past glories. I don't like those. Not interested is what I'll say. That's Only Murders in the Building was also nominated in Best Comedy Series. Palm Royal on Apple TV. I saw 2 episodes of it. I thought that's pretty good. I should go back and watch it. Never did. Never went back. But I intended to, so that's got to count for something. Reservation Dogs on FX. Don't know anything about it. Don't know anything about it. Hear a whole lot about it. It's supposed to be, what's it about? It's about life on a reservation, Native Americans. All right. I'm a pass. That's not, I don't know what that is. I don't want to, that seems dirty. It seems sad. So no thanks. Also nominated for Best Comedy Series, but did not win, is the best comedy series on television, What We Do in the Shadows. That should have been your winner. FX is What We Do in the Shadows, but it won't win anything because it's just truly pound for pound the best done half-hour comedy series on television that will get absolutely no credit because they're going to fuck around and give, The Bear a nomination, so they obviously don't know what they're doing in the comedy category. What We Do in the Shadows is better than Hacks. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Hacks won, and it's a good show, and I'm glad they won, but Hacks is not as funny as What We Do in the Shadows. So there you go. Best actor in a comedy series, Jeremy Allen White in The Bear. That's right. And if I'm Jeremy Allen White, here's what I'm doing. If I am Jeremy Allen White today, I am picking up the phone and I'm first calling Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows, who is also nominated in this category. And if you're giving an award for the funniest actor in a television sitcom and you're not giving it to Matt Berry, you're doing it wrong. And so Jeremy Allen White, who was given, again, he plays a character who is suicidal and an addict and going through a breakup, and there is nothing fucking funny about this character at all. That's who Jeremy Allen White won a comedy trophy for portraying yesterday. Meanwhile, Matt Berry's like, what the fuck? I am incredible. I am so funny on What We Do in the Shadows. I am Jackie Daytona, real human bartender. Anyway. So he should call him and apologize. Larry David was also nominated. I don't know that Jeremy Allen White needs to call Larry David. Larry David don't want, you know what? Larry David doesn't want Jeremy Allen White calling him. I'm safe in assuming that. Steve Martin. No, he doesn't need to call Steve Martin. Again, Steve Martin shouldn't be in this stupid category. Martin Short, get him out of there. And then somebody named DeFaro Woon Atai, Reservation Dogs. Jeremy Allen White should pick up the phone and call him too. I don't know what he does, but he's probably funny. And he probably could have used a trophy to help his career. Certainly Matt Berry, who is one of the most brilliant comedic actors working today, who nobody knows. Nobody knows who Matt Berry is. He is next level, iconic, brilliant as a comedic actor. And nobody knows who he is. But had he won an Emmy, I bet you a lot more people would know who Matt Berry is. Matt Berry is a genius. He is one of the funniest people in the world today. And he lives in relative obscurity because Nobody's like, I don't know who that is. Why? Because they're giving trophies to Jeremy Allen White for comedy trophies that should have gone to Matt Berry. That's a real shame. Best Actress in a Comedy Series went to Jean Smart, She of Hacks. Are you kidding me? The chick from Jean Smart, I love her. I'm never going to complain about giving her a trophy because I think she deserves a lot of recognition. But you're telling me that the girl from What We Do in the Shadows wasn't nominated in the Best Actress in a Comedy Series? Oh my God. Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. That went to Ebon Moss-Baccarat. Cousin Richie. Bowen Yang was nominated in Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. That's another example of a dude that we are being force-fed. Would you back off the Bowen Yang? Bowen Yang is not funny. Bowen Yang is basically a mood. That's what he is. Anytime Bowen Yang is in a sketch on Saturday Night Live, it's a mood. It's always the same kind of thing. I am so fucking done with pretending that Bowen Yang, why? Because he's Asian and gay? He's gay and Asian. He checks 2 boxes. Let's make him super famous. Let's pretend like he's great. Okay? Everybody, are we all ready to pretend Bowen Yang is great? Because he's Asian and gay. Let's go. That guy sucks. Bowen Yang is mid at best on Saturday Night Live. Santos. He was funny as Santos. Now, quick, name another thing he's done. Yeah, you probably can because they seem to shoehorn him into every sketch on Saturday Night Live. And I'm like, why this guy again? What is he doing? Do you know how many talented and interesting people there are on Saturday Night Live, not named Bowen Yang, but they got to somehow make him. I also don't trust him being the most powerful person on Saturday Night Live. And he is quickly becoming an elder statesman. He's been there now like 6-7 years. He's the one they trot out as their big star. He's the only one from Saturday Night Live who got nominated for an Emmy. He's their guy. And I feel like he's being forced on us. And I don't feel like we've chosen him as our guy. I don't think, us who watch Saturday Night Live still are all in unison going, well, yeah, he's the best of the cast. He isn't. Who is the best of the cast? I don't know. I'm just tired of being force-fed Bowen Yang. What else do we have here? Best Actress in a Comedy, Jean Smart. We did that. Ebon Moss-Baccarat is Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. The chick from The Bear, the Puerto Rican lady who, her story is so boring. And every time they follow her around on the show, I just fast forward through it. I'm like, I don't care. What is this? This is not, I want to know about Carmi and these people. Who are these people? Can I just tell you about The Bear? I do like the show. It's great. It's way overrated. It really is. I hear people talking about The Bear like it's the greatest thing ever. No, it's really good. No, it's a really good show. It's really good and I enjoy it. It ain't the greatest thing ever, okay? It's a little bit long. It's a little bit slow. It's a little bit self-involved. It's a little bit... I don't know. I don't want to go into that. Anyway, Best Limited or Anthology Series. Baby Reindeer. I didn't see that. A lot of people saw that. Baby Reindeer on Netflix. I didn't see that. It looks dumb. It does. It looks dumb. Fargo on FX was also nominated. Lessons in Chemistry on Apple. Ripley on Netflix. True Detective on HBO Max. I would have gone with Fargo. That's like such a great show. I haven't seen Baby Reindeer, so I don't want to see it. It looks dumb. Who cares about this? Don't they do movies? Best Supporting Actor in a Limited or... No. This isn't Golden Globes. That's right. Golden Globes do movies and TV. This is just TV. All right. Nobody cares. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Let's be done. That's the Emmys. The Emmys were yesterday. I used to love awards season, up until about 30 years old. I was very, Oscar night, Oscar night and Super Bowl night. And a good, heavyweight fight. They were let's get people over and have a party. I mean, I used to love that shit. Now I couldn't even be bothered to flip over and watch the Emmys. It just all seems so nonsense. Now that we have so many choices for content, the idea that a network, like who had it last night, ABC, the idea that a network with their paltry, 10 shows or whatever, the idea that a network is going to produce an award show for television when there is so much more to television now than these fuckers can even, they don't get the right shows. Nobody is watching. They're giving awards to, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, I stopped watching award shows. I don't care. I don't care anymore. It seems silly to me now. Let's see. What else do we have here? Look at us. Look at us going so late. 2:30, huh? All right, let's do this. Football. All right, very quickly. We won't get into all the football stuff, but University of Texas is number 1. Look at us. Hook 'em. Number 1. UT. UT is number 1 in the country. So that's exciting. We, we got to remember it because probably won't be in a week or two. Seems like it's going to be volatile among a couple of teams the next couple of weeks. Anyway, I did say after the first game of this, I said, I think the University of Texas are going to be national champions. They were my prediction. Now, not as brave a prediction as when I predicted on opening day. You guys remember this? Opening day of 2023. Opening day, I predicted and gave reasons as to why I believed the Texas Rangers were going to win the World Series. Nobody had the Texas Rangers even finishing in the top 3 of their division that year. I, on opening day, said, I think they're going to win the World Series, and here's why. And I talked about the deals and the trades and how they went big in free agency and what guys like Seaver. I just talked about it. I was talking out of my ass like I am right now, but guess what? They went on to win the World Series. So that was a really good one because that was totally, nobody saw that coming. When I said that the UT was going to, win a national championship this year, I think a lot of people were like, yeah, they're really good. And considering that it's a down year for, Bama. And so let's go, Horns. Very excited. My son's very excited about this. My son, 15 years old, his 3 favorites, right? His 3 schools where he wants to play football, Notre Dame, UT, and SMU. Those are his 3 top choices as of right now. But as I mentioned, he's only being recorded by one school, and that is, St. Edward's or something, some tiny little school. That's all right. We've got down in Austin. He wants to go to UT. Doesn't want to go to St. Edward's. But he's only 15, so, he'll be fine. We got plenty of time. Adam says, I will no longer stand for this. Stop lying about the Rangers, LOL. What do you mean? But also, you're wrong. We should learn about trying to relate and adapt to other experiences. No, we shouldn't. You should. What do you mean I was wrong about the Rangers? I wasn't wrong about the Rangers. That was absolutely true. I said they'd win the World Series. I said it a couple of times in my private life, too. There are people in my private life who know that I said that. I don't know what you're talking about. He will not stand for it. How dare you? How dare you? You and your, but also, you're wrong. We should learn about trying to relate and adapt to others. Fuck you. No, that's a choice. You should learn to relate and adapt to others. That's a you thing. And if you want to do that because you think that, you can make the world a better place or at least your corner of it, good for you. Don't fucking preach that to other people. I don't have to relate to anything. I can be confused if I want. If I want to go through life being a dumbass who's confused because I didn't take the effort to learn about other people, that is my choice. Stop acting like you get to tell me what I can and can't relate to. Bullshit. Adam says, you never said it that early on, and we signed all those players 3 seasons ago. I said it consistently. Banned. He's banned. Here he goes. I am banning he's banned from the chat room. Hold on. Someone showed me how to do this recently, and I'm like, really? I can ban people from the chat room? Adam Reyna, hold on. You're gone. Block user. Oh, you're gone. I'm going to humiliate him to the point where he has to come in here because I'll know he'll be back. I know he'll be back. He'll have to come in here and under fake names. All right. I'm going to add him. You're blocked. You're blocked. You're blocked. You're blocked for negativity. You're blocked for not going with me on this. You're blocked for fucking being the friend of the magician who goes, I can tell you how he's doing it. That's why you're blocked. Your desire to be right has now caused you to be on the outside looking in at this magical show that we've been doing together for 3 years. You're gone, son. Hey, Adam, I don't know how to block you. I'm going to figure this out, though. I'm apparently not going to block him. But what I am going to do is I'm going to be done here. I got some stuff I got to do today. I love you guys. Hey, one more time. Let's say a big thank you, a big, huge thank you to our pal, Mikey D. He was our executive producer today. Mikey D, he's awesome. I'm sweating. That sucked. I like to use Adam. It's like there are certain guys that I can go off on, like Adam I can go off on, Frankie I can go off on. There's certain people that I can go off on just absurdly, like about stuff. That wasn't good. That one, I just went off. I used Adam to artificially give me something to go blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't even know where that all came from. Peter says, have a great day. No, you have a great day. What's tonight? What's the Monday Night Football game? Anybody know? Is it a good one or is it a sucky one? Cowboys. You guys worried about the Cowboys at all? Any like Cowboy guys? My son will not speak to me about the Cowboys. I asked him, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" In between the Cowboys game and the Bears game last night, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? You took one on the chin." He's like, "I'm not talking about it." I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm not talking about it." I go, "Dad," I go, "Kiddo." I go, "It's all right. You know, it's one game. We're gonna bounce back." I'm not talking about it, Dad. I'm like, "Okay, all right." So the Cowboys, the Cowboys loss affected my 15-year-old son to the point where he must exist in a world where that never happened. And I'm willing to go along with him on that. That's fine. I love you guys. I love Mikey D for being the executive producer. And if you too would like to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the top tipper of the day. And maybe, just maybe, you will be the executive producer. Peter says, oh my God, we need a running back. Let's see. Adam says, you are going to say, have a great Peter. Honestly, I don't know what I'm saying. It's just, I'm tired. Can I show you guys something? And this is this is dangerous. So I did something different today. Typically, I put the show together in a different location, and then I come into the studio and I do the show. But it's two things. I travel in between. Today, I woke up, came into the studio really early, and have been here all morning long. And I drank way too much cold mix. I'm like, and I was also, for the first hour that I was here, I was like drinking coffee. So I feel like the flop sweat, and I feel like the overly aggressive tangents that I took on with Frank and with Adam, I feel like they could have been stopped. I feel like I knew that, you know, if I ingested this much caffeine, and it's not just caffeine, it's like the crazy weird shit that's in this energy drink, right? Like, what is it? Is it guarine or whatever that stuff is? I don't know what that is. Anyway, I can't have any more caffeine now until tomorrow because I do feel like this is probably not healthy for me. But I do love you folks, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. All of you, even Frank, who knows I love him, and Adam. You're just lucky I couldn't figure out quickly how to block you. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.